2019 meeting of the Code Enforcement Board will now come to order. Roll call, Madam Secretary. Please.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Present.
Mr. Fogarty. Ms. Roby.
Here.
Ms. McLean.
Here.
Mr. Harrington.
Here.
Ms. Himes.
Ms. Himes will be here at 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Kundig.
Here.
Got a quorum.
We have a quorum, so we're going to move right
Is there
along.
anything from Mr. Fogarty?
No, I have not.
That's 2 meetings in a row, he hasn't bothered to call in.
Yeah, we may need to ask if he wants to continue. Okay. All right, we have roll call approval of minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Any additions or corrections? There a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve, second.
Ms. Roby made the motion, Mr. Gonzalez the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Is there any disclosure, do we need to disclose any ex parte communication?
There's no parties until Christmas.
No parties, no purpose. Okay. Do we have any announcements, Madam Secretary?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay.
Tom Cligg reports with pleasure that case number 1, CEB 09-18-109 at 1212 Sunset Circle is in compliance 12/11/2019.
Great.
Case number 4, CEB 09-19-183 at 537 Dr. Mary M. Bethune Boulevard is in compliance 12/4/2019. Case number 7, CEB 10-19-238 at 1215 Continental Drive is in compliance 12/10/2019. Case number 24, which is page 8.
Page 8. Okay.
CEB 11-19-264 at 348 Fordham Drive is in compliance 12/11/2019. Case number 26, CEB 09-19-190 at 1054 Michael Road is in compliance 12/11/2019. Case number 27, CEB 09-19-205 at 730 Flanders Avenue is withdrawn. And I think that's it.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful news when people come into compliance. That's what we're here for. All right, let's see. So here's our procedure. Would the code officers please come forward and be sworn in?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay, we will be calling cases by number for the most part in order as they are listed on the agenda. If there are any attorneys present, we'll hear those cases first. If they have to be in court or any police that need to be someplace, we'll hear those cases. When your case is called, or for many of you, please come forward and be sworn in. State your name and address for the record. If you're not the owner of the property, please state your relationship to the owners. Our proceedings are recorded, so please speak into the mic. The board hears from code officers first, and then you'll be given the opportunity to respond. Please direct all of your responses to the board. Witnesses may also testify using the same procedure. Our agenda is getting smaller, which is great news, so maybe we'll be out of here before noon. If we're not, we'll take a break at 11, and those of you that are left here, in fact, I'm almost willing to, with so few people here, let you all sign up if you're here, but we're going to hear case number 3 first.
Madam Chair, if I can just
Go
add
ahead.
one other thing.
Yeah.
On number 27, we had announced that that was withdrawn.
Yes.
And because that was for imposition of a fine and it's under the jurisdiction of the board, we'd ask for dismissal. We can't just withdraw it. So
what
so
are we
proper
going to do?
procedure, we would have to ask you to dismiss it.
So we'll just, and what is the reason?
the property is sold at tax deed, so it's no longer, in the ownership or possession of the respondent.
Would you explain to the board what that means, so they understand that, why you want to dismiss it? Because of the tax deed?
Right, with the tax deed sale, all encumbrances, except if we had an encumbrance, and I think we may have some, that we will seek to recover the excess proceeds, but all other encumbrances are wiped away. So if there's a new owner that's not associated with it, or will be, and will, of course, put that new owner under the duties of complying with the code.
All right.
What
so-
happens is, they can start a new case against a new owner. If there are any excess proceeds, we get that.
Right.
Sometimes there isn't. There was one last night at a meeting, had like $1,700 of excess proceeds, the city got it.
Good.
It does happen once in a while.
Okay, so while we're on that page, number 9 for case 27, the chair will entertain a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
There's such a motion.
So moved.
All right, motion, Mr. Roby, second, Ms. McLean, all in favor, say aye. Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to case 3. We have to do case number 3 first because we have people that need to go to a meeting. So, case number 3 is CEB 08-19-161, Carolina Wagner.
State your name and address, please.
My name is George Howard. My address is 1150 Wilshire Circle West, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33027, and I am the general contractor for the property owner.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for a progress report. There's been a lot of matters trying to be resolved regarding the property. Captain Lee has been part of meetings with the permits and licensing and other divisions, and so would like to address the progress from the perspective of the city, and then we can see what they're doing as well. So I would tender Captain Lee.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Captain.
My name's Scott Lee. I'm a district captain for the police department, just for the record. So the issue with this case, and the reason why I'm here in front of you today, is that I believe we scheduled this or set a compliance date for, was it February?
Yes.
Okay. For February, there's supposed to be a progress report. In most cases, progress report usually comes from the individual that's either the owner of the property or the person responsible for representing the owner. In this case, I'm here to talk to you about the progress because there's been a lack of progress. So during this time period from when you guys imposed the date of February and asked for progress reports, really nothing has been done. There has been continuous contact with the city, either through permits and licensing or through us, but that contact has not led to any substantial movement or going anywhere. It's actually getting to the point where it's causing an increased workload for our staff and resulting in nothing. So what I'm basically here to ask you is that I'd like to amend or change that compliance date to January. I'm more than willing to let them have one more month here to try and get something going, but they have taken no action or none of the steps that are necessary. Staff has repeatedly told them that they have things that they need to do, but they have to come in and they have to come up with an idea of what they want to do with the property first, so that we can even tell them what they need to do and what variances they might need. They need to figure all that out, but they have made no steps or attempts to do that. I have brought with us here Bo Snowden from Permits and Licensing in case there's some questions about permits and licensing that you guys might have or something that comes up. And I have my inspector here as well who can speak to violations. This property is a property that it's in rough condition, and it's in an area that's also in rough condition, and we're trying to actively improve that area because there are some residents in that area that are trying to live a normal life and not be
Absolutely.
affected by these things, and there's properties like this that are creating an impact on that area.
Captain Lee, who's been responsible for the permits, the contractor or the owner?
In this, in this case, it's been the contractor who's been coming in. I do want to say that I recognize that this person's in a difficult position because he's working with us. We're telling him what we need him to do. He's telling the owner. The owner is communicating with him. That's out of our view. You can see the owner's not here today.
Right.
The owner, I don't think, has been here for any of these hearings. That's also what's creating part of the problem. Staff has asked for her to come in to hear some of these conversations as well. In times when they've met out at the property, she's made statements to staff that are not in cooperation with us. Statements similar to, well, if I want to put a window in, I'm going to put a window in. There's nothing you can do to stop me. It's stuff like that where we're just not making headway here. This is not working, and we're just to the point where we do not want to have this case continue to linger on.
Heard you. All right, Mr. Howard, what would you like to say?
Well, I would like to say that I respect Captain Lee, but I don't think that he has been well informed because I've been speaking to every single department, and I've been trying to bring this property in compliance. We applied for a master permit, roofing permit, a mechanical permit, and electrical permit. Those permits are in process, but because they haven't been issued, and the reason why they haven't been issued is because there are other issues that has to be addressed. And one of the issues that we did apply for a exploratory permit, 3 exploratory demo permits, and to Captain Lee's credit, that house, that area is a mess. Unfortunately, the owner doesn't understand the rules as far as building is concerned. I have spent a lot of time going through that area, going inside her apartment buildings, telling her, this GFI doesn't comply. That window does not. You have to understand this. And so she began to understand. Now, she's been holding on to a lot of rotten wood. I've just taken out all of the rotten wood that I could. I've gone through that entire building to look at every structure that she built without a permit. I've taken pictures. I've taken those pictures to my architect and my engineers. They are when they design a architectural plan, they are responsible for it. When I pull a permit, I am responsible for it. And I shared with her, you are not just going to pay us a few pennies and all of a sudden you're off the hook because you built something and you think that someone else is going to take the responsibility. We are in the process of saying, if the footer is not properly done, then our engineer will make a suggestion on what has to be done. You'll have to pay for it, and if you don't, we are going to recommend that structure be removed, because we have to come in and say, if we qualify a structure, we have to explain the ways and means, the method and means in which we've approached to qualify that, and our license are on the line now. We took the old survey. We combined the two surveys together. We've looked at what used to be there. I am not interested in what she has to say to me, and I told her, you can't tell me anything because I don't believe you anymore. I have to see what has been built, what was there before. And I have a plan to talk to Mr. Snowden. Mr. Snowden has been nothing more than a professional. He don't want to bankrupt this lady. He doesn't want to bankrupt her. He doesn't, but he has a job to do. And he has made it very clear to me, I'm going to do my job. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I spent a lot of time already. So he has given me a time limit to get everything in compliance. And has told me, in conclusion, he has told me, say, look, give me a schedule of what you want to do, how you want to do it, and if it makes sense, we may agree. If it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna tell you, she did it without a permit, and I'm gonna let her know, she has to tear it down. End of story.
All right, the ultimate responsibility is going to be with Ms. Wagner. We appreciate all that you're trying to do, but we have a job to do as well, too.
Absolutely.
And Captain Lee is telling us that there's no progress.
Your Honor, the reason why there's no progress is because we cannot do any work without a permit. Now, Mr. Snowden has told us, he said, I'm not going to allow you to do anything on that building until you you comply with certain things.
Right.
We have I had to go through everything of the old permit because she had told me, oh, this was there 20 years ago, that was there. I can't take that anymore. So what I've done is I've done my research and I've got with my engineers. Now, the only thing she has to do a variance, and she has to apply for that. We don't know whether or not it would be approved or disapproved, but what.
Excuse me, but we've been in this position for months now, and we've heard, and you have been
Too much.
diligently coming in and telling us what she's not doing, not what she is doing, and we're taking a lot of time on this case. Code Department's taking a lot of time on this case, and Building Department's probably taking a lot of time on this case too. It's costing the city a lot of money to deal with her not listening to anything anybody says, including you. That's my opinion.
Understood.
Wait, okay, because I've heard what you've had to say now.
And that time extends past that. The legal department, the development services department, they've all had to participate in this, and that's abnormal for a case.
Yes, it is.
And that's because we were trying to find the least impactful solution for the customer in this case. But the bottom line is that for several months now, it's been told you that you need to come in with a plan. I understand that you can't do any of the contracted work or issues or can't be addressed physically on the property, but there has been a series of things that have been told to you, steps that needed to be taken in order to get to the point of being able to do that work, and those steps have not been taken. We're talking about variances and going to the board to receive a variance, but the bigger issue here is there is no plan for this property, and absent a plan for this property, you don't even know what variances to ask for. You only know one that you believe right now. But even that is not the case at this point. There needs to be, basically the bottom line at the end of the day is, there needs to be a site plan submitted for this property so that a plan can be established, and we can partner with you to establish that plan. Once you submit a site plan, we can review it. But absent of that, then all the unpermitted work needs to be removed and needs to go back to its original state. And if you want to ask specifically about those permits, because I know it is a little confusing that permits are on hold. They're on hold for reasons, and Bo is here to answer those questions if anybody has any of those.
Would anybody on the board like to ask questions?
I would.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, have you done any work at all?
Yes, I have removed the fence so that the first reason why I removed the fence so that I can get to the building, because I had so much stuff in the way that she had put in, and I had to clear everything out so that I can actually see what was done. Now, we are in the process of putting a new fence back, not just on one side, we're fixing up both sides. That is on that's on the 542 property. Now that we have exposed that building on that side, because that is the structure that we have in question, I have taken pictures and taken those pictures to my engineer, and my engineer is in the process of coming up with a architectural plan that he can stamp on, he can sign off on. And in order for me to do that, I had to go down and dig in underneath that, in that footer, to see how far that footer went in.
Mr.
And see whether or not
Gonzalez,
there
did
was
he
any.
answer your question?
No, yeah.
Because we've spent an inordinate amount of time on this case.
Okay, well, I have another.
Okay, then, and I hope it's going to be a 1 or 2 sentence
Okay.
answer, sir, please.
Okay, well.
Because it's not doing your case any good to stand up here and tell us what somebody else has to do, what somebody else isn't doing, what you can't do, what you can do. It's not helping at all. Because what we see is that nothing is really being accomplished. Why, is a different matter. And that, sometimes that makes a difference, but go
My
ahead,
question
Mr.
I'm trying to
Gonzalez.
get at the why.
Okay, let me,
He's got limitations
That's right.
due to the
We
owner
understand.
who's got to provide the monies. for it.
Correct.
So, but to the permit department, I have a question.
Okay.
I do want to just add in here that, in kind of response to part of what you're asking about, it's not that he's not doing anything, it's that they're trying to do certain things that are out of order from
Right.
what need to be done, and they may be things that are relevant down the road, but they're not, we don't know all of what's relevant right now because a plan has not been established for this property. Go ahead, Bo, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Good morning,
Hey
Mr.
there.
Snow.
Hi.
Do you
Good
need
morning.
to- Does he need to be?
He was sworn in, he just
Okay,
needs to
thank
state
you.
his name.
Okay.
Bo Snowden, Permits and Licensing, Deputy Code Official. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this property, and the more you dig in, the more you find and the more you see. There's a ton of stuff that was done without permits and so forth, and George has been coming in, he's trying to clean that up, and he's got a variance meeting, I believe, today, to where we're gonna talk about what we have to do. Because what they're wanting the variance for, there could be other stuff. I mean, it's complicated, it's not just a cut
What
straightforward.
is the variance?
Say it again?
What is the variance that they're asking?
For that big monster structure they built with no permit, it doesn't meet the setbacks. So,
Can I ask how that got built without a permit on Ridgewood?
They didn't catch it.
I mean,
It's kind of,
that's what it is. It's back in 012 or, it's slowly, stuff just happens and they don't catch everything, but, I mean, that's where we're at. But with that said, it's, two properties that were supposed to be combined back in 010 that weren't combined, so there wasn't enough parking. To use parking on a different lot, you'd have to combine them. So he's in the process of doing that. Looking into it a little deeper, that front one was residential upstairs, commercial downstairs. Now I believe it's residential everywhere, which is a change of use, which could kick in a whole bunch of other things that we're gonna talk about today at that variance meeting, but,
And the lady that owns it now has owned it the whole time?
has,
Has she owned it the whole time?
she has owned it, she got it in, I think, something in a divorce, I'm not sure the exact year. But, so, all she's really wanting to do is go for the variance for that little part of the building and so forth, when we have to back up and say, hey, we got to get a site plan, demonstrate parking, demonstrate everything, and make sure that everything that is there is allowed to be there and so forth.
Can you, when did you tell them they needed a site plan?
We have a old site plan from 010 that is just something that they come in, meet with staff, and said, hey, can we do this and so
Right.
forth. And they've had that, but we've been talking about a site plan for a couple of months now. And I left it off with George that I gave him that kind of site plan from 010 that I don't know if it's still good or not, to come back in and give me a list of what y'all are wanting to do and how you're gonna do it and so forth. And here we are.
What's the holdup on the site plan?
we have the survey. We had to first come out with the survey of the current plan on both properties, and then we had to combine the two properties and show the plans with the combined two properties, and we have that. And as a result, I think Volusia did issue us, because she had to pay her taxes, so she paid her taxes this Monday, and I had to wait for the taxes to be paid because that had to be done. So that was done. And I've asked, I think I just know his first name there in Volusia is Jim, and he is working on it for me to get the combined properties so that we can do our job.
Okay, do we want to call?
I'd like to make a motion.
Wait,
Go ahead.
excuse me.
Go ahead.
I'm the one that called them up and I had
No,
a
sorry, go ahead,
question,
go ahead.
and everybody just took over
Right,
and
go
forgot
ahead, Mr.
about my
Gonzalez.
question. So, the work he can do depends on whatever permits.
That's
Well-
correct. What I've issued so far are 2 interior exploratory demo permits, which gives you the permission to remove everything that was done without permits.
Right.
I mean, there's little sheds, there's stairs, there's walls, there's stuff everywhere you look and you turn and so forth. So in order for us to be able to issue a permit, and I do have a permit in here, but it includes the big structure on the front that I don't know if they're gonna allow it to stay there or not, so I can't issue that. So instead, I issued exploratory demos to where he can get started. Let's clean it up. I mean, you always have the option to take that thing back to what it was.
Right.
And that's the option that's on the table right now. Either return everything to what it was done without permits, or two, come in with a site plan to where we can do a real review to see if you meet all these requirements. I mean, there's landscaping, parking, there's setbacks, there's tons of stuff that's involved with that you just can't answer on a whim of a yes or no question.
So now I have a question for our attorney. So if they can't give him permits and he has not done the expectations, if we rule to change the vote, is his license affected in any way?
No.
Okay, just the owner? Okay, thank you.
Madam Chairman, as you've
Yes.
said, we put a lot of time in on this. I think we have one of two decisions to make. Either accept this as a progress report and go to January, or take Captain Lee's suggestion that we change the compliance date to January 1. I think that's what we're supposed to vote on.
Yeah, that's,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So we
That's
need a
it.
motion.
That's all that's in our power to do. We can't do anything else right now.
He needs to understand that he can do what he needs to do. He cannot do unpermitted work.
But that's not our
It's not our responsibility,
It
but he
is
cannot
not.
do that. We're not giving him the authority to do that either.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept Captain Lee's request and change it to the cutoff date in January, that you have a site plan.
Which is January 2nd.
Right, and that you have a site plan by that day, and the owner shows up with you.
Yes, ma'am.
If I'm, before y'all move on that, or make a decision regarding that motion, I just want to make sure it's understood what we're asking for is, right now, is to move towards to compliance. So compliance would be compliance, not just obtaining the site plan.
Right.
But we believe that if we can move forward in good faith with major steps, then we'd be standing here in agreement to maybe the additional time. But if we're in this position where we're in now, which is, there's no good faith effort, and not against the contractor.
Right.
But ultimately, it's
Well,
an
that's
owner
why she
responsibility.
needs to be here and be told, not by only him, but by the board, that you need to do this by this date.
Yeah, Ms.
Or-
Roby, I understand. What I'm just saying is that our
Yeah.
request
No, we
is a
understand.
request
We
that's
understand.
incomplete.
May I just say one other
No,
thing?
no more. The board needs to figure out what we're going to do. So we have a motion on the floor to move the compliance date to January 2nd, 2020. And I'm not sure that we can order somebody to come here. I'm not sure that it should be dependent on a site plan. That won't bring them into compliance.
I think she's requesting a site plan and requesting an order to be here. They can't
Yeah.
order it. She's requesting-
We can request it, and if she doesn't show up, then we set a
Well,
fine and.
we will either find them next time in compliance or not in compliance at the next meeting. That's really all we can do. Is that right?
Right.
Imposed.
The motion's fine.
The motion's
Yeah,
fine. Is
we-
there
Order
a
is
second to
request.
the motion?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, just so clarification, what we'll be asking for, what we'll be looking at when we return would be imposition of a fine.
Right.
Because
Right,
they already
they're
have compliance
already
date.
in
Yes.
So, okay. But I don't want that to be hindered by if they show up with a site plan, or she shows up, that somehow would satisfy the issues.
I agree. They're putting this on our back.
Right,
We want a compliance date. That's what we want.
right.
Absolutely, I think that, what Mr. Jackson was getting at is that if we're back here in January and there has been substantial effort, we can rehab this conversation of reestablishing a new compliance date, but yes, that's
Okay,
what we're
but I
asking.
don't want to, I mean,
There's no promises with that.
this is a
Well,
half
that's saying,
hour
that's not part of the
on
motion.
one issue. And it has been this way for months. And I don't see any movement.
It's-
And so okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All right, second, Ms. McLean. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay. All right. We're going to call case number 2 now, CEB 11-19-271, Herb and Lauren Kawek. Anybody here for that case? Thank you for all your time, everybody on staff. Okay. All right, case number 2, CB 11-19-271 at 708 South Beach. This is a, okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I don't know if we actually did mention introduction, Anthony Jackson, attorney for the city. On this case, this is the, for a progress report. The inspector is Tom Clegg. Right now, there's a compliance date of January 2nd. Mr. Clegg is reporting that they are making progress. They're waiting on a roof permit. Did they get that yet? They applied and they're waiting on the permit. He believes they can get done everything they need to get done on time, and he's asking that we make no changes to the compliance date.
Okay. Is that satisfactory to everyone?
Yeah.
So moved.
We don't have to even make a motion. We're good. Okay. All right, thank you very much. We're going to move on. Case 4 is in compliance. Case 5, CEB 11-19-281, Nancy Beckman at 915 South Palmetto. Respondent not present.
Okay. So what we got? Applied for?
I would move to set a fine. This case has been here since July.
July?
So I guess it's the same as the previous case
You're gonna have to explain.
in regards to cooperation.
Right.
Okay,
So I would make a motion.
I think first we have to let, you make the motion after we hear
Oh,
from Mr. Jackson.
I thought I just heard him talking.
Okay, go ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector in this case is Jerome McCoy. This is before you for imposition of a fine. And Reese, we took a brief moment there, that what Mr. McCoy was explaining to me is that the respondent had a permit and had to seek a permit, got the permit final as part of what she needed with the rental license, but she also needed an additional permit that, at least in the opinion of the inspector, it seemed that she didn't really understand, and so he was asking that we amend to the next cutoff so that she can complete everything that she needs to do.
All right, so they have a permit for what, a roof?
I would have to turn to Mr. McCoy.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Jerome McCoy, Code Inspector for the city. My credentials on file. Yes, she applied for a permit for a garage door, the front garage door. That has been final. However, when I did a inspection, she thought both garage doors was encompassed inside that permit. It's a side garage door that was sealed, and she needs to get a permit for that. So, with her confusion,
Okay,
I want to amend it to the next cutoff.
okay.
Move
What
to
say
the
you,
next
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Well, the recommendation here is impose a fine.
Well, that's really the action that we can take. We can also wait a month. I mean, the building looks like it's in pretty fine shape. She did get one permit, she just needs to get another permit like that, and she'll complete that work.
Correct. It was
So
a door.
she's cooperating.
Okay, so then I'll change my recommendation,
Okay,
which would be to forward this to our next meeting and get a progress report.
We should be in compliance by next
She
meeting.
should be, he said that she should be in compliance by next meeting.
Right.
Okay, so,
Don't need a progress.
so we don't need a progress report, just the next cutoff date. We'll just amend it to the next cutoff date.
Okay,
But she's in the process of getting the permit already.
Okay.
And she'll get the work done. So, Mr. Gonzalez has made a motion to amend to the next cutoff. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. McLean, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay. Case number 6, CEB 0619-121. Willie Mae and Rufus McCoy. Respondent present? No. Okay.
Asking for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for, in position of a fine, the inspector is John Stinson. Mr. Stinson recommends that, at this point, he reports that the property remains in noncompliance. He's asking for a $100 per day fine be imposed to a maximum of $10,000. I would tend to Mr. Stinson if you have any factual questions.
Any questions,
I
Mr.
move to
Stenson?
accept the recommendation.
Okay, motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches a maximum of $10,000. That motion has been made by Mr. Harrington and second by Mrs. McLean. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Has there been any contact with them?
Just one phone call from the mother, and she says she's having difficulties with her son.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to case number 8, CEB 07-19-130. Jackie Spencer is not here today. He's been here before, but not here today, okay?
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that he had a rental inspection in October. Nothing's been done to meet compliance. It remains in non-compliance. He's asking for a fine of $100 per day, be imposed to a maximum of $15,000. I attend to Mr. Jones if you have any factual questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Jones? We've had, this case has been here, notified in
Yeah.
February.
Any
Move to
contact?
accept the recommendation.
All right. Okay, Mr. Harrington has made a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $15,000. And Ms. McLean has seconded it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
I have to say on these, if this doesn't wake up somebody
I know.
to getting an inspection to face a fine of $15,000, we're doing something.
Let's remember this at lien review.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, right.
well, I feel that there's
Yeah.
something wrong between
Well-
what we're trying to accomplish and
Has there been any
Where it
contact with
goes.
them?
There has been contact when I was there in October, and he did send an email, maybe 3 weeks ago, but didn't give me any status report. I emailed back to him and requested a status report. I've been by the property. There's work that has been done without permits now, and no permits have been applied for.
Are we doing any kind of public, real public information, not just putting it on our website about, because we've consistently got 20 or 25 of these every week, which means that's the tip of the iceberg.
I do remember getting a letter in the mail. If you are renting or planning to rent, this is what you need to do. So the city has gone out of their way to notify homeowners, because I got one.
Something's not registered.
I'm glad that you brought up that question, because just to get information and tests, I went into the code enforcement office and I asked for a list of what you need permits for. Well, we don't have a list, was the answer. And I don't think that's right for the citizen. The citizen should be able to, in order to know what they need permits for.
Well, first of all, if you make any adjustments to your house, you should go to the
And-
city that you
and
live
ask.
in and ask, because
Right.
everything needs a permit.
Okay, but,
Yeah.
but
Okay,
I'm
we
just saying,
can, okay, go
there
ahead.
should be more information.
Finish your thought.
All I was saying is, we've got 20 or 25 of these cases, the magistrate must have an equal number. Something's not registering there, I'm not suggesting how we cure it or what's wrong.
Well, you
all
can't,
that. It just seems, it bothers me that so many people are simply ignoring something.
but that's the general public in Normal.
Well,
They try to do something and get
That's the
away with
general-
it.
General public reacts when they're educated, and somehow they're not educated.
Okay, we can talk about this at our workshop, we can
Yes,
talk about this
I
at
would
the
like-
end of the
Yeah.
meeting.
The
All right,
building
thank you,
official
but
will be
we're going
there.
to move on, please. This is case number 9, CEB 09-19-173, Gemma Vasquez. Nobody's here for that case.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for the position of a fine. The inspector is Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that there was a rental inspection on, in November 19th, so they're due for compliance to the small matters that were found in December 19th, so he's asking that we amend to the next cutoff to allow them to comply to the items that
All
were
right,
found.
this case got kind of confused because there was a check sent in and nobody could find the check, but they had a copy of the check, so, a motion, Chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance, allow respondent until 1/2/2020 to come into compliance, be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. All
So
right.
moved. Second?
Motion, Ms. McLean, second, Ms. Roby, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 10, CEB 0919-194, Jose Percy. No, okay. Didn't show again. Okay,
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for the position of a fine. The inspector is Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that Mr. Percy has his application for license under review, and we're asking that we amend to the next cutoff.
all right,
Tend to Mr. Jones.
so he's got his license, what's
He's
that?
finally agreed that 219 and 223 Madison is a separate parcel.
They're two separate parties.
That is one parcel. He was attempting to attach it to another parcel
well,
that had 5 units.
Right.
He's finally come to the accepting that this parcel needs a rental license. I did talk with the rental
Okay.
technician. It has been submitted, so hopefully by next month, we'll be able to have gotten in there, inspected it, and moved on.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I don't want to mess this up because we move along quickly, but I have a question. What does he pay taxes on? Separate parcels
I don't do tax.
or one parcel?
I guess, I think the response from the inspector is that that's a little bit, outside his purview. If he hadn't already
Right.
looked it up, he doesn't know the answer.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Even if it was one parcel, every building should have its own assessed value, so it should be taxed that way.
Well, if the count,
Well, I don't think we determined that. I think the tax-
Yeah.
tax
Not up to
people
us.
do that,
It's
yeah.
got nothing to do with the case.
Okay, you're right.
Let's
All right.
move on.
I said, all right, so, Chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance, allow respondent until January 2nd, 2020, commit to compliance, be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Gonzalez, second, Mr. Harrington.
Mm-hmm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 11, CEB 11-19-250, Evelyn Hanans.
Madam Chair, members of the board,
Again.
the inspector in this case is Cliff Reckenzone. Mr. Reckenzone reports that this property remains in non-compliance. There's been no contact with no action done by the respondent since the last meeting. And I tend to Mr. Reconcile, oh, I'm sorry, he's asking for $100 per day fine to a maximum of $10,000. I tend to Mr. Reconcile if you have any factual questions.
Okay, I make a motion that we impose a fine, go with the recommendation.
Okay?
Second.
We have a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $10,000. We have a motion from Ms. McLean, second from Mr. Harrington.
Yep.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Moving on to case number 12, CEB 11-19-254, Stephanie Robinson. She's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
State your name and address, please.
I'm Stephanie Robinson here from 590 Shady Place, Daytona Beach, 32114.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you in position of a fine. The inspector is Cliff Reconcile. Mr. Reconcile reports that this property remains in non-compliance. He reports that there's been no contact, no movement since last meeting. He's asking for a $100 fine to a maximum of $15,000. Attend to Mr. Reconcile.
What is the $100?
$100 per day fine to a maximum of $15,000. And I attend to Mr. Reconcile.
Okay. So, we're saying that nothing's been really accomplished on this? Working without a permit, roofs and drainage, glazing, insect screens, failure to obtain rental license. Mr. Reckenzone, is this property occupied?
I don't know at this
Okay.
point.
Ms. Robinson, what would you like to tell us?
I actually have been in contact with him and Miss Jennifer. I'm waiting, I have to get for this, it was no work being done without a permit. The permit expired, the second permit. The second permit was for the roof that I got done, but it was a big issue with the guy who was doing it, so I actually ended up having to go to court with him and one of his workers. Then I got the permit again, and I want to say April. I got, the roof got finished, but I couldn't find the permit card, so I couldn't get an inspection without the permit card. Then I called to get an inspection, but it was out of date or something, whatever it is, and I didn't know that it expired. I think she said 60 days or 3 months or something like that. I don't know what it was. So when he came out, he told, I sent him an email because I didn't know what the other stuff was on there. I had someone to come and do the screens. They did the screens. He didn't take the front door down because he actually ended up going to jail for a dog attack or something,
Who's
which
he?
isn't regular. The guy who I hired to do the screens
Is he a
and take the
licensed
door down.
contractor?
No, he's not licensed. Because do you have to have a contractor for screens?
No.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Okay.
So that's all it
Oh,
was.
okay.
And then the second one, for the one that was pulled before, I got in contact with the supervisor, which is Miss Jennifer, and I have to get an engineer and then the guy who originally did the plans to come out and do some type of stamp and approval. And so I'm just waiting on them.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I think it's 10:15. Mrs. Himes has come
Thank you.
to the meeting.
Thank you.
9:50.
Oh, it's 9:50. I need new glasses.
Have you applied for a rental license?
No, because there's no one in there. I was staying in there, and then I had my boyfriend's cousin staying there. So that's all it was.
So is anybody in there now?
No, just the guy who was cleaning up, and he actually did decide.
No, just the guy who's.
Well, no, this is what I'm saying. He actually pulled the bed that I had in the back in the front, and he caught himself sleeping while he was cleaning up, but he doesn't stay there. So, yeah, I got on him, and the bed is now back in the back.
Yeah.
Well, if we tell you we want this work done by January, is it gonna happen?
Well, it's no work that has to be done. They just have to get the engineer to approve the permit, the site plans from the original permit that expired.
So I'm confused.
It was 2 permits that I had. It was a roofing permit, and then it was for an addition that I had a few years ago. So that permit expired a few years ago, and I just wasn't even thinking about it because I thought everything was done on that. Then, when the storm came, I think it was last year, I had to pull a permit for the roof.
Right.
I pulled the permit, but the guy who was doing the roof got into it with one of his workers. We ended up having to go to court. That permit expired. I pulled it again in, I want to say April of this year. The roof got finished, then I didn't have the permit card, so I couldn't get the inspection, then the permit expired. Then he came out and he was talking about the screens on the windows and then the screen on the, front door, in which the front door is coming off, because that's just gonna be down.
All right,
Ma'am?
go ahead.
We'll be ready to wrap this up at the next meeting, is that?
Yeah, as long as they have the stamp from the engineer.
I can answer the question from the perspective of the staff, Mr. Harrington. What she needs at this point, I think the only thing remaining, if I understand from the inspector, is an after-fact permit, and then, which I think she's obtained the permit, so she just needs that final. It's after the fact, it's already work that has been done, but it was done, completed, the permit expired before it was final. So she just needs to get that work approved and final.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question for the city. What's the city's recommendation?
We're recommending, based on what we've just expressed, as we said, Mr. Reckenzone had not been receiving contact, but we can't speak to whether or not she had contact with the permit division. She represents under oath that she has. That's sufficient for us before what we need done, since the only thing we need is the final of her additional work. We're willing to go to the next cutoff.
And I did email him and leave voicemails, but he was out the second time.
Okay.
Did you want to
Yeah,
say something?
excuse me, Officer Jesper.
Yes.
Just so you know, the last comment in Track It with Miss Bennett, Jennifer Bennett, was in October, and she was told she needs a final, so it's been quite a while.
Consistent with what you said. I think he's saying it's consistent with what the inspector said, that he hadn't had any
Right.
contact.
Get that.
So we need a motion. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we continue to the next cutoff, and if you get it done and the permit approved, contact Mr. Reckenzone, and we'll be here saying that you're in compliance before our meeting.
I would second that motion.
All right, we have a motion from Ms. Roby and a second from Mr. Gonzalez to amend the previous order of non-compliance and allow respondent until the 2nd of January to come into compliance to be returned to the board for subsequent meeting for consideration of fine of up to $1,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign of approval, motion carries.
Is that $1,000 a day?
No, up to
Just up to
$1,000 a day. Did I say that?
I went there Monday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
you'll have till January to get into compliance. All right, case number 13, CEB 11-19-259. Keith Beachman. Mr. Beachman
He
here.
was here.
Mr. and Mrs. Graves came before.
I think he was here.
Someone.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, there she is.
there's a respondent.
State your name and address, please.
Julie Graves, 222 Blanche Place, Daytona Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Sorry. Gee.
What's your relationship to Keith Beachman?
We're friends. He's in a nursing home.
You know, if I remember right, and this is the one where the two folks came in and said they were friends, and we proceeded at the previous meeting, and we're willing to continue to proceed. The inspector in this case is Cliff Reckenzone. This is before you for imposition of a fine. Mr. Reckenzone reports he had no contact from the respondent since the last meeting, or even from the these respondents. However, he did go by the property this week, and he did discover that some things had been done. However, it still needs painting, still needs the accessory structures, exterior walls, and so it remains in non-compliance. He's asking for a $100 a day fine to a maximum of $10,000. I tend to Mr. Reckenzone.
Anybody have questions for Mr. Reckenzone?
Has anybody been in contact with Mr. Beecham in the nursing home?
No, we have. We saw him over the weekend, and my husband did try to call him Friday and left a voicemail. Call him, I'm
No,
sorry.
I mean, has anybody from the
Oh,
city been in
I
touch
don't know.
with the property owner at all?
Just by the certified mail and the postings of the property.
Is it customary for, if we have friends showing up at the meeting on behalf of the owner of the property, is it customary that we get in touch with the, no?
Speak to that. No, it is, and if they're coming representing themselves as agents of the respondent, then we don't go and step
But
beyond.
do we know this gentleman that owns the property even knows what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, if we question that, and that's a request to the board to make some type of contact, it's almost like a subpoena action.
Okay.
I mean, that contact can be pursued, but I don't know, but all in all, if you accept, and that's the board's choice, you may prefer it in writing, but if you accept them as an agent, then we really would have no, probably wouldn't be proper for us to go and try and step across them to seek out the owner.
So are you going to be doing the repairs on the property?
Yeah, we were just here to ask for an extension because on Halloween, I got strep throat, went to the emergency room, and they recommended I stay. And I was like, I can't because we have an autistic child and all that. Took a big shot of penicillin, and everything just deteriorated to the point where I ended up in the hospital over Thanksgiving. I have the paperwork for it. So we're just asking for an extension so we can get it done, that's all.
Do you have the, Ms. Graves,
Yes,
you have the authority to spend the money to do these repairs? Do you have or is there an attorney that represents? The
no,
owner?
because we understood it to be just painting and repairing screens, so that's what we thought we could do that without having to get a permit and all that.
Okay, but you're willing to do
Yes.
that?
Now, it's my understanding that the owner is held responsible for these rentals and all these issues that come up. So they're saying that they're just friends. We don't have anything official from the owner delegating them or giving them a power of attorney to do his business in this house. So I would like to get some kind of clarification.
Okay,
But-
the only thing that I can tell you is that Ms. Graves is here under oath, saying that she is representing Mr. Beechman. If that's not satisfactory to our board, we can do something about that.
Well, I can accept that, but Ms. Graves, we need to have an assurance from you, since you're going to be the one doing this, that this will be done by the next cutoff.
It will.
Where is Mr. Graves? Okay, is he going to be doing the work since you're sick? I mean, it doesn't matter who does the work, but we need to get it done, is what I'm saying.
No, I'll be doing the work, because we do have an autistic child that has to be supervised.
You know, this
So,
has been going on.
If I don't do the work, he'll do the work, but,
Okay.
I mean,
How
well,
long have you lived there?
7 years.
This case has been going on since
A year.
January.
Yeah.
So we need some assurance that you as his friends are going to get it done.
Yes, we will.
Next time, if we extend it, we're going to have to create a fine.
No, we will get it done.
Am I hearing you all asking for POA or what? I mean, are we asking her to get that proof or what? You know?
No, nobody has yet.
I just was questioning that he knows what's going on, you know, with his property, because if you don't comply and there's a fine, then there's gonna be a lien, and then his family's gonna come in and say, we never authorized those people being there.
Right, that's
So-
my concern.
That's
Well, that's what I was saying
Yeah.
about a POA, get
What?
a certified power of attorney or whatever.
They know he's in foreclosure.
Well, I have a
Run out of room.
Go ahead.
that we impose a $50 fine per day, and that we would review it next month, the cutoff date,
Well, they're
I think
supposed to be
they're
coming into
fine.
compliance by January.
Okay, well, all right, I'll stick with the fine. $50 fine per
Oh,
day
yes.
until they come into compliance.
If he's in a home.
Motion.
All right, we have a couple issues here before, we're going to vote. Is there a second to that motion? No, we have a few issues to discuss here. First of all, is this considered, I'm going to ask some questions, is this considered rental property?
Under these circumstances, yes, we'll have to cite for it.
So the fine would really be up to $15,000 if it's rental property. Do we need to have it inspected?
Well, we need to have a rental license. so-
Or a rental license?
And that's not addressed in here.
No, it's not addressed in here, but the 10,000,
Can I ask
They're not
one
the
more
owners.
question? Is
Go
there- Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is there a way that you can bring him from the nursing home for if you don't come into compliance next month?
I would have to,
Do you,
I'm sorry,
no,
are we able to bring him?
no.
Okay.
no.
That seems like it would be a hardship
I have
for
a
someone.
question. I have a question. Do you pay rent to live in that house, or are you
No,
just?
the house is in foreclosure. He just asked us to stay on the property until they foreclosed it so that nobody breaks in and steals his stuff. It's
7
like
years?
paranoid. Well, no, when we first moved in, we rented. But then when it went into foreclosure, we quit paying rent.
Okay, that,
Okay, and Madam Chair, I was just advised by Ms. Hampton as well that she had checked, and indeed, it is in foreclosure, and it's scheduled for judicial sale, in January 22nd of 2020, so it's scheduled, anything could
We
happen.
don't have a lien on it, do we, at this point?
And at this point, we don't have a
Okay, so
lien.
we just make a motion that we extend her to come into compliance by 1/2/2020.
Once they foreclose, then have the new owner anyway.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
The
just,
more we get them to do, the better.
Right.
So
Next cutoff.
have we got a
Next
motion
cutoff, yeah.
on the floor? Do we want to take that motion?
we don't have, it died for lack of seconds, so we need a new motion.
Well, I made a motion that we just continue to the compliance date of 1/2/2020.
So we're making a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance, allow respondent until 1/2/2020 to come into compliance.
Mhm.
Return to a subsequent meeting for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day. Ms. Roby made that motion.
We already-
Is there a second? Hold on. Is there a second?
We're amending the compliance date because we're up here for imposition of a fine.
Right.
Yeah, but Cliff asked for a compliance date of 1/2.
Well, you can't.
No, he didn't.
I thought he,
1, 2.
No.
We have a compliance date. That's now.
Well, we're amending it.
Extending it to the next,
We're setting it to the next cutoff date. All right, do we have a second to Mrs. Roby's motion, and then we'll have discussion?
No,
All
he
right,
wants to say
second,
something.
Ms. Hines. All right, now we can have discussion.
Wait a minute, did I hear a second?
Yes,
I did, who?
Ms.
Ms.
Hines.
Himes. Speak into the mic, Ms. Himes. I didn't hear you.
Madam
Go ahead.
Chair,
She
Yeah.
has something to say.
he's been trying to say.
Did you
something
vote?
for a while.
No, we're not
Okay.
voting, we're having
Okay.
discussion
I
before
just-
we
I
vote.
just Trying to
Okay.
keep up here.
Okay.
Just one thing for clarification, Madam Chair. Continuing into next month, the judicial sale is until late in January, like the
Right.
20-something, so it won't really change any other circumstance.
That's correct.
And so I just
Although
want to
they
make sure
may
it's
be in
clear.
compliance,
yeah,
Okay.
which would help the sale.
and I'm not concerned about whether we help the sale or we don't. They're,
Do we,
I'd like to see
We
them
typically do not consider, at least from the perspective of staff, we don't look to the foreclosure outcome because we never know what can happen between
correct.
this date and the ultimate
So,
sale.
the matter before us was compliance or non-compliance, and what, the only thing that we're doing with the motion is saying we're putting off the compliance date until the 2nd of January, and giving them the extra time to get these things put in order.
quick question, if
Go
I may.
ahead, Mr. Gonzalez.
Do we have confirmation that it is going to foreclosure?
Yes.
Do we
Yes,
have-
we have confirmation. We pulled it up. It's on the,
Right.
it's filed in the court and it's scheduled by court order for
Right.
judicial sale on January 22nd.
And he had a question for you here. Madam Chair?
That's right, ma'am. I think that Mr. Jackson's taking care of that.
Okay, thank you.
Knowing that it's going into foreclosure, you know that now. Still gonna do that, you gonna do anything?
No, yeah, we're still gonna do it.
Because you're gonna lose the place anyway.
Yeah, I know, but we're still gonna do it, because he doesn't need a fine added to the top of everything else he's got
Okay.
going.
All right,
Thank you.
just bring it back next month and see what happens.
All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor, and the motion is to amend to the next cutoff. Let's vote, please. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Case number 14, CEB 11-19-260. Ryan Nunez.
Nunes.
Nunez, thank you.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know if anybody's
Anybody here? No.
car's on.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Cliff Reckenzone. Mr. Reckenzone reports that the property remains in non-compliance. He's asking for a $100 per day fine to a maximum of $15,000. This is what he applied for in 12-3.
So they have no rental license or anything else?
They applied for the license.
Oh, the license was applied for in 12-3. And I attend to Mr. Reckenzone.
Okay. The license was applied for on 12/3, then they go and get this, so they haven't had an inspection yet.
Correct, they haven't had their inspection yet. And it's,
Is there a tenant in there?
yes,
Okay.
It's almost a year old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this case is a year old.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have contact with these people, with this person?
I've had phone conversations with them. I've transferred her over to the rental department to have the email the paperwork. As of right now, we haven't seen the paperwork come back.
So they applied for the license but haven't sent in the money? It hasn't been issued?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I make a motion, we impose a fine.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day up to $15,000 against the respondent, effective today and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches, well, maximum $15,000. The motion was Ms. McLean, the second was Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
And we are imposing a fine for all of these items or just a rental?
All of them.
It would be for the whole case, so it would be all right.
Nothing
Okay.
has been done.
Some of these, has anything been done?
The vehicle's been removed.
But it would still be for the whole case,
Right.
Mr. Harrington.
All in
But we
favor?
do acknowledge the vehicles have been removed.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 15, CEB 11-19-266, Frank and Carol Cohen Estate. They were here last time, not here this time. Yes, okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The permits were applied for on November 27th. The inspector's asking for this to be amended to the next cutoff. And I would tend to Mr. Reckenzone.
Any questions for Mr. Reckenzone?
Next cutoff.
Okay. Chair will entertain motion in the previous order of noncompliance law respondent until the next cutoff, which is 1/2/2020. To come into compliance, we return to a meeting for consideration of fine up to $1,000 per day. Mr. Harrington, motion, second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Roby, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Moving on to case number 16.
They're here.
11-19-270, Charlie White.
He's here.
Wow, April.
State your name and address, please.
Charlie White, 3 Wagon Wheel Court, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear from code enforcement first.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Cliff Reckenzone. Mr. Reckenzone reports that the property remains non-compliant. However, to respond to this, working on it, he's asking that we amend to the next cutoff. And I attend to Mr. Reckenzone.
Questions for Mr. Reckenzone? Go ahead.
Sir, this case is noted here since April 30th, 2019. Why has it taken so long?
Well, there's some issues there. I think I was issued a stop or work order on something like a Thursday or a Friday.
This, now?
No, this is way back.
Okay.
So then on Monday, I came up here to get a permit. Well, they told me I couldn't just walk in and pay for a permit. I had to fill out paperwork. So anyhow, try to make a long story short, I filled out the paperwork, carried the paperwork home, filled it out, brought it back the next day. They said they'd take a look at it and get back in touch with me in a week or two. They did. Well, they needed a blueprint. So I went home, sat down, drew out a blueprint to scale, everything, brought it back up here, submitted it. They said, all right, we'll get back up with you in a week or two. They did. Said, got back up with them, said I need an architect to draw the permit, or draw the plans. Said, all right. So I went out and hired an architect. Well, between the time I hired the architect and I got this from the architect, I came up to a hearing. Well, my name wasn't on the board, so I asked somebody here in the court, and they said, well, your case has been dismissed. Don't worry about it. Go home. So I went home, never even looked at the blueprints. Didn't do anything. Because all the work was already done.
The work that you were doing.
I had a tree service come in and cut down a tree. They dropped a tree on my carport, demolished the roof. So I replaced the carport roof. I didn't do any additions.
Okay.
No, nothing.
Just ask him what it was because I'm confused now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Madam Chair, I could help bring some light.
Thank you.
As far as the time period especially.
Okay.
This is a mobile home park. State law splits the way mobile home park notifications are done, depending on the nature of what has to be done, whether it's the park owner versus the homeowner. We initially notified the landowner, and based on a review of the law, we realized we needed to notify the park owner, the homeowner, and he was just notified in October. October 5th was when he was noticed.
And I was out of town taking care of my...
Somewhere between that, it's very likely, I think we did dismiss because of the wrong notification, and so he may have very well have come and been told it was over.
So what you're asking for basically is just to move to the next meeting?
Yes, that's correct.
So, well, I'd like to be able to get a permit so I can go ahead and do whatever it is I'm supposed to do. I don't even know. Like I say, I haven't even looked at them.
Well,
I just got back into town last night.
We can't tell you what to do as a board. If you go to Mr. Reckenzone, he
Right.
can tell you, or the building department.
Oh, yeah, he's willing to help me.
I see that you're willing to, we all see that you're willing to do what you need to do, and there was some confusion. So we're going to just amend to the next cutoff, and then hopefully we'll get things straightened.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I ask.
Move the next cutoff.
All right, Mr. Harrington has made a motion to impose made a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance while responding until 2nd of January. To come into compliance, we return to a meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second, Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so make sure you get with Mr. Reckenzone or the builder, or whoever,
Yes,
he'll
ma'am.
tell you who you need to get in touch with. We can't do that,
As
okay?
soon as he gets done in here.
Okay. All right, case number 17, CEB 11-19-272, Kishore Bhupathi. Wasn't here last time. Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector in this case is Cliff Reckenzone. Mr. Reckons' report said he's had no contact, there's been no changes since the last meeting. The property remains in noncompliance. It's asking for a $100 per day fine to a maximum of $15,000. I tend to Mr. Reckons.
I make a motion.
Go ahead. Motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue till compliance is achieved or reaches a maximum of $15,000. That motion has been made by Ms. McLean. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Himes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. All right, case number 18, CEB 11-19-274, Johnny E. and Randy E. Richardson. Anybody here this time? They were here last time, okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector in this case is Cliff Reckenzone. Mr. Reckenzone reports with some confusion and disappointment that the parking on the lawn is in compliance, the high grass is in compliance, but the premises identification is not. And so it remains in non-compliance. He's asking for a fine to be imposed, so $100 a day fine to a maximum of $15,000.
So the only thing they need are numbers?
Yeah.
I thought they had numbers.
No.
I think to Mr. Reckenzone.
I thought I read in the minutes that they had numbers. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think he showed them.
Nope, not that picture.
From the mail, I think the mailbox.
Let's see.
Was it mailbox?
Page 21 of the minutes.
It has to be on the building.
I understand, but it came up.
They insisted that the mailbox was sufficient, and we explained to them that it wasn't. That they had to have the numbers on the building.
Ridiculous. Okay, let me see this.
It says the letters were put on.
Yeah, I guess that's what I read.
Yeah.
But they put them on the mailbox.
This picture is from Monday.
Okay, so they're just on the mailbox and they need to be on the house. Have you spoken to this person?
No, I haven't talked to them since last hearing.
Maybe it'd be a good idea, maybe to set a fine, but 30 days down the road, before it gives them the incentive to do it. Don't do it, the fine starts. It's the $2 to go to Walmart and do this.
Yeah, for all
I mean, it seems like an awful lot of paperwork for 3 numbers. So and a lot of work for everybody involved. However, you're in compliance, you're not in compliance.
If I could just add, I know
Go ahead.
it seems like a trivial thing, but it's
No,
a very
no.
important thing because that's
It
how
is.
EMS and
Right.
fire
I
and
agree.
police
I
find
agree.
your house.
I know, yeah, I agree with that.
The
That's why-
mailboxes can't be always in front of the house that they
Right, sometimes they're
represent.
across the street, things like that.
It is important. No one's arguing that it's not important, but. No,
Trying to get them to do something immediately.
all right, so then I guess, so what fine were you asking for?
We're asking for our base, which is $100, I mean, this inspector's base, which is $100 per day fine to a maximum of $10,000. We do agree with Mr. Sino, maybe a little incentive order may be one that would go into
I
effect
don't know
after
if
3
we've
days.
ever done that before. If you don't do this by such and such a date, then we're going to impose a fine. Is
Well-
that what the order's gonna be?
Well, we do it, but we
Yeah.
typically do it waiting till the next cutoff.
Right.
When we
Right,
have a springing fine, not something with
They were
short.
notified though a month ago that the numbers had to go on the house.
Well, it's been.
I think we
it's
discussed it
been
in the meeting.
since June.
June, oh,
And it's a simple solution, simple resolution, simple to resolve, and it's not resolved.
And in fact, he was here last week, and he heard that he needed to do that.
Right.
right.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion? Is
Yes,
it-
sir.
If you would like to set it to where we do a fine at the next meeting, that's fine. I'll have Officer Jesmer go out there and make contact with them and see if we can't, encourage them, I guess is the best way to say it. Help them if that's what needs to happen.
Well, this needs to be done. I agree with that.
Since.
That's fine.
But he was here before.
And he was here before, and, when I just read the minutes, I didn't realize, I checked off, I looked at it and checked off premises identified. I didn't realize it was only identified on the mailbox. I forgot that part.
We need to do something to get the protection.
Yeah, I would make a
Okay, and I
motion
saw that note.
to adopt, the city's recommendation.
Was this-
$100 a day fine.
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez has made a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches a maximum of $10,000. That was Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Roby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed.
No,
Okay. So it's 4-1? Okay, that's it.
4-1?
5-1.
5-1. Okay, thank you.
Now let's move on to case number 19, CEB 11-19-267. Mr. Engelmeyer. Was not here last time.
Nope.
I think he lives in Baltimore, huh?
this place rented?
I don't know.
Madam Chair, members of the board, no, the inspector is indicating we're not expecting him to be here today. We're asking to amend to the next cutoff. She has made some prior inspections. She has had communication with respondent. He's committed to coming next month, and she was willing to wait for that, but we'll leave that to the board. All right? Okay.
Good morning.
Attended inspector.
Good morning.
What work has been done?
Sarah Kirk, inspector with the city. No work has been done. He lives in Maryland. Last month, he said he was going to come, and then he asked me, because of the holidays, it's going to be
Okay,
another
well,
month.
here's the deal for me.
Okay.
It's not fair to people who live in the city to hold them to a different standard than we do people that don't live in the city. I'm not willing to give him any more time than I would give someone who lived in this city.
Right.
That's,
I agree.
I
agree.
okay.
I'm.
Because he can pay somebody to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta
There's
take,
a motion being made here.
yeah, a
Okay.
motion that a fine be imposed.
All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Ms. McLean and a second from Mr. Gonzalez to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches a maximum of $10,000. Or is that a rental property or just a property?
It's vacant
10,000
land.
is right?
Yeah.
Is it, no, well, it's not owner occupied, and I think that's the standard, so it would be the 15,000.
15.
Okay.
Either way.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries.
That's right.
Case number 20, CEB 09-19-211. Matilda Riley.
State your
morning.
name and address, please.
Matilda Riley. Address,
Oh, go ahead.
1625 Floman Street, Daytona Beach, Florida, 32117.
Your right hand?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that, excuse me, the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Sarah Kirk. Ms. Kirk reports that she hadn't had any contact from Ms. Riley, at least since the last meeting and until yesterday was the first time she heard from her. She remains in noncompliance. The inspector's done 6 re-inspections on the property. It's been since May of 2019. We're asking for a $100 per day fine be imposed to a maximum of $15,000. I tender Ms. Kirk.
Ms. Kirk, is anybody living there?
To my knowledge, they are still there. They're
The
in
tenants are there?
Right, they are still there.
Any questions for Ms. Kirk?
And has any of this been addressed?
There has been some outside storage removed. There's still some that remains, but some of it has been removed.
But the rotted wood, the junk debris, the fence, the porch, the walkway, the driveway, the screens, none of that?
No, everything else remains, just some outside storage has been removed, that's it.
What would you like to tell us, Ms. Riley?
I'm working, trying to get those people out of there. As of yesterday morning, I spoke with them. The son said that he would have them out of there today. I have a contractor waiting to get in there to do all the work. As I spoke to you last month, I told you that I was trying to get them out. She spoke to Miss Sarah and told Miss Sarah that she didn't want to move during the holiday. That's not my responsibility. So if I have to, I'll just have to evict them.
And how long have you owned this property?
Since 2006.
And you were notified in May of these problems?
Yes.
And were the same tenants there?
Yes.
Okay.
I rented it to Mr. Garnett, and he's in his 70s. And those kids, I guess they don't even want to help them, but her son came and stepped in and said that he would have them out today. If not, I just have to do the $200 and some eviction.
But I think that the problem still remains in regards to what needed to be done is not done.
Well, I have D&M plastering and handyman and repairs trying to get in there to get the work done. I have never not been compliant with the city to get my work done.
And what's the date on that contract?
I was speaking with him on yesterday. I don't see a date on it.
Can we see it?
Yeah, can we see it?
Mhm.
But what day did you get this?
I just got it last month.
You had it a month.
Yes. When I spoke to you all on the 14th, I told you I had a contractor waiting.
Oh, I will note, Madam Chair, members of the board, at least my recollection is that Ms. Riley has other rental properties, and I think that she's in business of having rental properties. So it's hard to explain why she wouldn't take the actions necessary.
Exactly.
Yeah, some of this has nothing to do with your tenants, like having an address number, or having the place sprayed for bugs. I mean, you don't need to evict them to do either one of those two things.
Yes, you do.
I don't have a problem about doing anything, but that lady's a hoarder, and I need to get in there I really want to update the house,
Oh,
period.
I understand that.
Yes.
But some of these things could have been done months ago,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the city's recommendation and impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches a maximum of $15,000.
So moved.
Second.
All right, a motion, Mr. Gonzalez, second, Ms. McLean, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay, case number 21, CEB 10-19-220. Mr. or Mrs. Whalen, available? Okay. Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
State your name and address, please.
Joseph Whalen, 318 Norris Street, Daytona Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you're about to.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector, Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that the property remains in non-compliance. The respondent applied for a permit, still not valid, but we applied for a permit back in October. This case has been going on since January of 2019. It's going on a year. And we're asking for a fine of $200 per day to a maximum of $15,000. I turn to Mr. Alderman.
Questions for Mr. Alderman?
What work has been done so far?
This is his residence.
As a letter, numbers.
Pardon? Oh,
Yeah, what work has been done?
my name's Steve Alderman. Oh, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I totally lost my train of thought. for a
Work
moment.
has been done.
Steve Alderman, my credentials are on file at the city of Daytona Beach. And, what was that question again?
Work has been done. What work
Yeah,
has
what
been
work
done?
has been
The
done
only
so
thing I've
far?
seen done, I was there yesterday, the northwest portion of the garage been felted in or dried in with a fascia board on part of it. Some of the other stuff, the outside storage was done fairly closely to after the last posting. Other than that, the permit has been applied for and it is still not approved. I was there January 24th, 2019 is when I started it. Posted it the same day with a stop work order. And then the permit was applied for October 17 and is been received by the city November 12.
I have a question too.
Go ahead.
Are these pictures fresh or the same ones?
Well, no, those are the postings of the previous postings.
Okay, no, the pictures.
Correct.
Are the pictures new or
That.
they the same that we saw last time?
That's current.
Well, there are more current photos in this, yes.
He wants to know the date that the photos that are on the screen were taken, if that's possible for you to tell him.
Well, other than what I put on my notes,
Oh, a
Okay.
month ago.
Alright, so these are the same pictures from the last time?
some of them, yes.
Oh, okay.
I do have current photos on there. And I apologize, I have had I've overloaded my tablet, comes down to it. I cannot take photos, put them in with a timestamp, so I have to go in there and actually take them separately, drop them back and forth. So some of my photos don't have dates and times on them.
Okay.
Because last time we had a discussion about the blue tar, he said
Right.
something about the fence was in the way, some with the neighbor, the roof. It all looks the same to me.
No, that's the current one as of yesterday.
Okay.
Tarps have been removed, part of the roof has been felted in, and part of the fascia has been done.
Okay.
Okay.
But yet no permit.
No, has not been approved.
What, Mr. Alderman, are there other permits that are needed for work on this property that haven't been applied for?
As far as I can tell, the permits are all inclusive of the roofing process.
Okay, so it's not a roofing permit all in one about
Yes,
that?
because the roof permit has to address the fascia boards that
Right,
are rotten, and the entire decking of the shop.
Is this house occupied?
No,
And what did you say the date was on that, when that permit was applied for?
10/17.
and it
The
was,
permit was applied for in October?
yes, and it was received by the city, 12th, on November 12th.
How did, a month, that's not making sense.
Well, that's the difference between the address, or the date that was on the application and what was stamped by the city when they received it.
Gotcha.
I can't tell you when, it was received, because I can't find it in the computer system, so let's go off what the inspector's saying, but I can tell you that on November 19th, there was notes provided back to him, where supplemental information was needed, and, as far as we can tell by the notes, that information has not been received back from the city, which is why the permit cannot be
Now,
approved.
we still don't have that information.
That's correct, unless you can tell us otherwise. I mean, it's possible.
All right,
it's been
Mr. Allen, what would you like to tell us?
I don't know, I'm real confused on all that now. I'm sorry. I did apply for a permit, and they told me that they would be in contact with me. I have not received contact. I was in the permit office this morning. They've now advised me to go up to see Miss Harley due to that my house is in the redevelopment area. So I can't do anything additional to my roof on my garage until I have the main house roof done and the covering on the main house and the garage has to match because of the area of town I'm in, I guess. I have contacted 4 roofing contractors. I've heard from 2. I have one I tried to contact again this morning. He said that he would get my estimate to me. He came and inspected the house, took all his measurements a week before Thanksgiving. I kind of understood Thanksgiving. You know, he's busy. The other contractor sent me all the town records of what was on the house. He put together an estimate of what he thought, but he has not inspected the house yet.
Okay, I have a question for you. What has been going on since January?
Lack of communication.
That's a year's worth of lack of communication and nothing much being, I don't know, between who.
Are you saying,
Well, that I thought we discussed in
Well, we're gonna discuss it
October,
again. Okay.
because
are you saying that you received no notification that the city needed additional?
I have not received any of that information.
You said that.
Okay, I have some clarification on the dates too. So there was, the application appears to be dated October 12th, I believe it was? 17th, I'm sorry, October 17th, but it was not received or signed, which means it was not submitted until November 12th.
Right.
Then on the 19th, they emailed him at his address, which he placed on the application. That email was sent to him with the additional notes that were needed, and that is what we have not received back.
Was this a rental?
I haven't received any emails.
Was this a rental property before?
No. It's actually my homestead, but I own the house across the street also, and we basically live in both. I use it as my guest house for my family. I have a very large family. My son is there right now.
So there is someone living there. Did I not ask
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
My son lives in Lakeland.
Oh,
I'm,
okay, we're getting confused here.
let me take a breath for a second
Okay,
here.
do it.
My son lives in Lakeland. My father-in-law is in hospice right now, and we're dealing with that. My son has come up to see my grandfather, or his grandfather.
Mr. Alderman, do you have any additional recommendation?
Can I just add just a little bit more?
Wait a second, Mr.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir.
Okay.
Other than the $200 a day, do you see any reason for changing that?
That would be totally up to you.
Okay, you're still fine.
You're
with that.
still recommending that, is what he's asking.
Based on time, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now, take a breath and just listen, answer this question for me. What has happened since, for a year, that why wasn't a permit applied for? Why wasn't any of this work done? And miscommunication, I mean, I can look at the picture and see that work needs to be done. I don't need to communicate with anybody to see that work needs to be done. You own other properties, you own one across the street.
Just across
and
the
this
street.
one.
Right.
And you
The
look
house
at
across
this
the
every day, and you know that
And
work
I-
needs to be done.
And when I'm home, I work on it every day. It's an old house. It was built in 1924.
Probably.
The hurricanes were the destruction of the garage. And I had a misinformation that was given me about permit processing. Okay? So I was told that since I live in the house, that I could do the work on the house. And there was, it was a misprint in the newspaper. It's not an excuse. I was under the impression I did not have to get a roof permit because of the hurricanes. I was incorrect.
Right.
I admit that.
That's right, you're incorrect.
I'm doing the work myself on a limited budget. So I can only do so much.
Homesteaded.
This house is homesteaded.
Oh,
I
this
live,
house is homesteaded?
yes, I live in this house most of the time.
In this house that's up on the screen, you live in that house?
Yes. Since when I
And so
started the
that's homesteaded. Is the other house homesteaded?
no, I bought that after the fact.
And who, okay.
And we have temporarily moved over there while I'm doing work on the other house.
Okay.
Yeah. But I have no
that's
intentions
all
of
right.
renting it. Okay.
Well, I think we need to move on.
We do need to move on. We need to decide what to do. The city,
So far, I have removed everything that he has asked me, except for one thing that I'm confused on, something about barrels. And if that's the barrels in the back, it's a water retention system. I don't know why I have to remove that.
okay, we have a motion on the floor.
I'm sorry.
I second it.
And a second to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches a maximum. That would be then $10,000, correct? If it's homesteaded.
Yeah, we could agree with that.
Okay. We have motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries.
Who made the second?
Mr. Gonzalez made the second?
Sorry, I just can't hear y'all today.
That's all right. So we imposed a fine, so you need to get busy fixing it.
Well, I need to
Going to
find a contractor that
Okay.
we can get some work done with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 22, CEB 1119262, John Nicholson.
Okay.
Shows up right there.
413 North Grandview.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition number 5. The inspector, Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports the property remains in non-compliance. He's asking for a fine of $100 per day to be imposed for a maximum of $10,000. Tender Mr. Alderman.
Any questions for Mr. Alderman?
Has there been any contact?
Yes, actually, I spoke with him on Monday. He was supposed to be here today. He was not done, so that's where we stand.
Was anything done?
Yes, quite a bit. A lot, there was a lot of trash and debris in the back of that house. And that's all been pretty well maintained and cleaned up. There's been windows replaced and partial windows, or partial paint completed. But he had stacks of stucco and all kinds of other things that he was going to continue on with, and he wasn't done, but he was still supposed to be here today.
Right, and it says last month, he said he only had 3 things to do to complete to come into compliance, so.
But does he live in that house?
Yes.
The front one, yes. There's two.
Oh, there's 2.
The 2 houses or a house and
No,
a
there's
rental?
2 structures, 2 separate
It's
houses.
got 2 separate addresses.
2 addresses, yes.
We're only discussing this one. 413.
Well, they're on the same parcel, so I addressed both of them as far as the maintenance.
So how does that fine then not? Okay, I guess that one stays at 10,000, the maximum, because he lives in, if there are 2 parcels,
Yeah, and the back one is vacant.
and the back one is vacant.
Yes.
But it could be rented out.
Of course.
Then he has to get a license.
Right.
Giving up.
Oh, I'm just looking to see whether we say 10,000 or 15,000.
Yeah, we take the position, it's one parcel, so we would look at it as
So we're gonna
the,
do
okay.
So make a motion. I make a motion.
All right,
I second.
Ms. Roby made a motion and Ms. McLean seconded the motion.
You second.
$100 a day, the city's
I'm
recommended.
gonna get to it, to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today and continue till compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $10,000. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 23, CEB 11-19-263, Kelly Lynn Riley. Not here.
Record reflect Ms. Harrington left the room.
All right. Mr. Harrington left the room. We still have a quorum. We'll continue.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The Inspector, Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that the property remains in noncompliance. He's asking for a fine of $100 per day to a maximum of $15,000. I turn to Mr. Alderman.
Has anything been done?
Yes, there has been some stuff done. She brought in a couple junk vehicles to add to the issue. She's done some painting on the front, but this is the structure, by the way, that she's moving into
Right.
from the sinkhole
The
structure.
sinkhole.
Oh, yes, yes.
So I have noticed there's Christmas decorations on the front door. So she is there. And I see her trying to paint the front of the house, but there's quite a bit more stuff to do.
Yeah, there's too much, it's, yeah, okay. Any other questions?
Didn't we impose a fine on another house that she had
Yes.
Numerous.
Several,
last time?
Yes.
yeah.
But they're both in foreclosure, I believe.
Okay.
I know the sinkhole one is.
The sinkhole one's in
Yeah.
foreclosure. I don't know about the other one.
Her mother was living in it. She's moving her in with her in this one, I believe.
Okay, all these cases are separate. This has been since April. She's owned the house for quite some time, so the chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $100
So moved.
per day against the respondent effective today. Continue until compliance is achieved to reach the maximum of $15,000. Ms. McLean made the motion, oh, yeah, Ms. McLean made the motion. Who's making the second? Anybody?
I said second.
All right, second, Ms. Himes, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Harrington's back.
Mr. Harrington's back, okay. So here's another question. How is this $15,000 if she's living in it? Because it's not homesteaded? That's just a,
I still
I don't
believe
know if
she's.
you know the answer to
I
that.
think that it's 10,000 personally.
I just want to get it right, that we're
Yeah,
imposing
well,
the right amount of fine.
Yes, Madam Chair, I think our criteria is that it's owner occupied, and apparently now it is. It wasn't when we initiated
Right.
the case, but now it is, and we don't have a problem with you.
Amending it to $10,000.
$10,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need a second for that?
I'll second, just in case.
Okay, second from Mr. I made the motion, the second from Ms. Roby, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay. Case number 25, CEB 071-19-146, Josephine Anderson, estate. Andrea came the last time?
She's here.
Okay.
I got a call, but nobody left a message from the number out of Michigan.
We're just here for progress report today in this case. So we're not going to take any action.
State your name and address, please. You can pull that microphone down.
My name is Andrea Anderson. My address is 501 North Keith Street.
Good morning.
Good
Raise your
morning.
right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for a progress report. The inspector, Mike Fitzgerald, Mr. Fitzgerald reports that progress is poor. He doesn't, we were trying to determine, I don't see us having it indicated whether or not there is a compliance date already in place. If there isn't one, he's asking that compliance for next cutoff, that something substantial starts happening, or we move forward for the fine. I would tender Mr. Fitzgerald if you have any factual questions.
Good morning, Mike Fitzgerald, City of Daytona Beach Code Enforcement. My credentials are on file with the city. Yeah, it's been going, and then I went by there and took these pictures a couple days ago, and the junk vehicle's back. So we're going backwards instead of forwards.
Ready for me? Can I speak?
Wait a second. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Fitzgerald?
Has a permit been applied for the roof?
No.
Has anything been done?
Well, the junk vehicle was removed, but now it's back, so.
Okay.
Do you know when you're getting it?
Okay, Mr. Anderson, what would you like to tell us?
Okay, in regards to the vehicle, the junk vehicle, as he described it, my car was in the shop. The guy fixed it, and I had my girlfriend broke the windows out. It was fixed Wednesday, and she broke the windows out on Friday. Had a police report. So I had to bring the car back because, and park it in the yard, and because there's nowhere else I could park it. I have my letter from Rebuild, Florida. If you'd like to read it, you can read it to,
What's it say?
I'll read it for you then. It says, July 15, 2019, attention, Mike Fitzgerald. Says, Dear Mike Fitzgerald, Andrew Anderson, located at 501 North Key Street, is a resident of Daytona Beach, Florida. Andrew Anderson has reached out to the Rebuild Florida program to obtain documentation that she is actively seeking solutions to repair and replace her home within your community. The Rebuild Florida Housing Repair and Replacement Program is a federally funded program that assists homeowners to repair, rebuild, and replace.
Are they going to help you?
I'm reading it right now. You asked me to read it.
Okay,
That's-
I asked what it said.
That's what it's saying.
Are they going to help you? Have you heard?
Yes, ma'am. This is the letter they just
Easy.
sent me.
Have you heard from them since July? The date I heard you say was July.
Okay, since July 15th, that's
Right.
when I think I made my application to them. I just received this letter, November the 22nd.
Okay.
She just sent me this,
All right, go ahead.
this week. It says, it's a federally funded program that assists homeowners to repair, rebuild, and replace homes that were damaged by Hurricane Irma. If a homeowner is eligible, the program will manage to complete the construction process on behalf of the eligible homeowners up to $15,000. When an application has been submitted, it is reviewed for eligibility. The eligibility review includes program requirement review. A damage assessment of the property was done to my house on last Monday. I don't know the date, but last Monday the man came out and he did the damage assessment.
Okay.
And a federally required environmental review. The process can take, each can take 30 days or more. I can confirm that Andrew Anderson has completed her application for assistance and is moving into the eligibility review process. Should Andrew Anderson and the program qualify for assistance, the program will repair, rebuild, and replace the damaged home. She is seeking assistance. More information about our program, you can contact her.
Okay.
The only thing I have left to do is pay the last property tax, the 2018 property tax, because that's the last requirement for her program. And I expect to have the property tax paid from my pay periods January 15th, when I've been taking money from each check to pay it, and that'll be the last thing. And that's why they sent the inspector out to see my house. And if it's 75% damage, and he said it's 100% because that roof messed up everything in there. So
You live in there?
I was.
You are. You're not. Who's living there now? Anybody?
I still live there.
Oh, okay.
My friend gave me a place to stay, which was the best thing that ever happened in my life. But I was living in there, and that vehicle will be removed again. But I just can't afford to pay for the windows right now and the property tax. So I brought the car back. I have a tag for it, so it's not a junk vehicle, and it's been repaired. I just unfortunately, she just broke the windows out.
Okay. Have you cleaned up everything?
Yes, everything else is done. Everything else is done. The paint.
Outside storage is done. Mr. Fitzgerald, what's done there?
The outside storage that's still existing is the one in front of the garage
Okay.
door.
Those are bags for, sandbags in front of that door right there. That's all it is. I'm not, I really did what he asked me to do, everything he asked me to do, and I had the vehicle removed, and I put the paint and the chips of the paint, and I had it repainted, and the numbers on the house, and, clean up the yard. The bottom line was, I was expecting that, you know, I didn't think that the car was gonna have to be parked like that, but I had to park my car back in my yard. But the bottom line is, I've done everything, and, Rebuild Florida is gonna knock the house down or decide if they're gonna gut it out and redo the whole house. The inspector came and they're sending another one.
It's gonna take them some time to determine that?
No, she said that, after I paid the last property tax, that's why they sent him out Monday.
Okay.
Okay, because it was 2 property taxes. Then I had a problem because I first had to get the property in my name.
Right.
Then I had to hire the probate lawyer. Then, once I got it in my name, I started paying the property taxes, and now I'm on the second one, and that one will be finished on,
January.
by January. I'll have it paid off, and that's the last thing I have.
And then they'll come out and assess,
They've already assessed it. The bottom
they
line.
haven't made a determination of what
She
they're
has
going
to
to
pay
do.
it before they'll do it.
The last, no, I have, the inspector that came out told me they will be sending another inspector out because like the city has, that my house is a 4-bedroom house, and he's gonna do the blueprints because he is the one who actually will, I guess, design the house that's gonna be built.
We've had our progress report. Do we
Yeah.
want to get a compliance date or just?
Right, that's right, we've had the progress report.
Let's just move on.
Do you want to set a compliance date, Mr. Fitzgerald? Does the city want to recommend a compliance date?
Yeah, the city's recommending next cutoff.
Okay.
What's the cutoff?
January 2nd.
It's not gonna happen before
Because you have
January
to pay
2nd.
on the 15th.
Yeah,
That
I
would be
still have to pay
February.
on the 15th, but the bottom line is, it's not gonna be done. They're gonna knock down the house, they're gonna rebuild the house. I don't understand what he wants me to do besides that. What do you want me to do, Mr. Fitzgerald? Move the truck? I don't understand.
All right. Okay, you will have to ask him what needs to be done. We were here today for a progress report.
Okay, here's the report, ma'am.
Okay, well, the progress report includes more than just a letter from Rebuild.
I can't take the tarp off the top of the house?
The board's gonna take this all into consideration. We've
Okay.
heard what you had to say now. Do we want to set a compliance date for the city's recommending next month?
I think we should do, yeah, the
If
compliance.
she's not gonna
in
hear from
February.
them until January the 15th.
Yeah, so-
It's not gonna do any good to set a compliance date for next month.
Right.
I would say it'd be like February, or maybe a progress report in February, because because this isn't gonna be resolved, if
60
she's
days.
waiting on somebody else to work on the house.
Let's set a compliance date, then we can change it.
Okay, does February seem like,
I think it's more reasonable.
reasonable?
Yes.
I motion that we set up compliance.
All right, Mrs. Himes has made a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow the respondent until February 5th to come into compliance or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Gonzalez, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
May I ask you a question? What you just said is that, you set a compliance date for me for February the 5th. By that February the 5th, and the inspector will come out from, Rebuild Florida, my house probably won't be redone.
We know that. But
You just need me to bring I bring the whatever progress is done, bring it then.
just come back and tell us what's going on, and then we'll make a determination about what we're gonna do then.
Are they gonna fine me $1,000 a day?
No, that was just in the statement.
Okay.
I have to put that in the statement that we're allowed to fine you up to $1,000.
As long as you're making progress.
Bless you.
But we will we'll consider what's happening with based on your testimony, you're going to have something to show us, something to tell us, the taxes are going to be paid. And we'll listen to what comes next.
Thank you, ma'am.
If I can say this, Madam Chair, typically with program assistance, there's usually something you have to do as well as things that triggers what they do. And so I think it would only be fair to just make sure whatever they're asking you to do, you're doing. And
I have been, sir.
And I'm not saying you haven't.
I said I have
That's
been.
what's being measured.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Okay, thank you. All
All
right,
right.
we'll move on to case number 28, CEB 0919-208.
I don't believe there's any respondents here until we get to case 31. Oh, just for your information.
Okay. Well,
Mike is taking them as they come in, so case number 31 would be the next respondent that's present.
Okay.
you have a list?
I do.
So we have case number, case number 31. We'll do that. We'll start taking, because it is 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's up to you. I just want you
Yeah,
to know.
okay.
I just want you to know
If you'll
that.
call out the cases, we can do it that way.
Okay.
Case number 31.
Madam Chair, may I approach?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's up to me.
No, just, if I may, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
No, I was just informing the chair that there's a temporary delay with the council, so, but he's
With
requesting that, with Mr. Sino, so he's requesting that just go ahead and proceed, and he expects he'll be back in a moment, but I just wanted to make sure that the chair was aware that your council was out, maybe outside the room a little bit longer than she had anticipated. And, you know, any other further details, I'll be happy to discuss with him.
Right, so the question is, shall we continue with our attorney here? I think we can do that without the board attorney present. I think we can do that.
I think we
Everybody
can,
willing to do
unless
that?
we can find a situation
Right,
that
and
need
if
his
something
input.
comes up,
Right.
fine, we
I
can't.
think he'll be back in just a short time.
Okay,
If you wanted
that-
to take your break, just, or however you want to do that.
No,
I
we'll
think
just
he'll be back.
continue, and if we need, if something comes up, we'll either put the issue on hold or, you know,
I think so.
we'll move on. Okay. All right, so where were we?
We were at case number 31.
Okay.
It's
Is
robust.
that all right with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
continue.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Case number 31, CEB 1119278, Shania Dent. Good morning.
State your name and address, please.
Shania Dent, 322 North Peak Street.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we're just here for compliance or non-compliance, that's it. Okay. Because these are cases, there are several of them in a row, that we continued, because there was some,
Right, we had some,
mix-up and.
yeah, with contact, so.
Right.
no,
So there's several of these cases, and, all right,
Sorry about that.
that's okay. That's
We
okay.
voted
Went to
to,
the bathroom too fast.
we
Okay.
voted to continue without you, so you could leave.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay. So, what, the only thing we're here for is compliance or non-compliance, nothing else.
That's
Case
correct,
number
Madam Chair.
31, Mr. Sino.
And we're on case
31.
Okay.
And so the inspector in this case is Mike Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald reports that the property is remains in non-compliance, and I say remains, but it is in non-compliance, and we ask for compliance for the next cutoff.
All right, are there any questions? Would you like to say anything?
I'm working on it now. As far as land and things like that, I have removed the different fences, the rotten wood and stuff like that. The roof, I'm waiting on Rebuild Florida, but I have someone to come in temporarily and repair everything that I need for the roof and inside the house. And the fence where someone hit it with their car is also fixed. Trash debris, the neighbors was throwing trash over to my yard, so I called the police and let them know they can't do that, whatever. So as far as everything is, it should be done by January.
Really?
Yes.
Good, that's great, terrific, okay. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion, Mrs. Roby, second. Ms. Himes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like, sign, opposed. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, who's next?
Next number.
32.
Case number 32, CEB 11-19-279, Theodore Carter Estate. No one's here?
Yeah, she's here.
Oh, you're here.
She's coming up. Oh, I thought she was here.
No. No?
All right, Mike.
They circled it, so
Oh, okay.
What?
All right.
maybe she went to the restroom or?
Hey, possibly. Go ahead and move.
Ma'am?
What's the name?
32.
32, Theodore Carter Estate? No?
Oh.
Make it easy.
Take it back.
Come forward and be sworn in, please. State your name and address for the record.
Actually, my dad is no longer with us. Good morning. Good morning.
Right.
And he would be,
So
in
what's
your name?
DeHaven, Dehaven,
Carter.
Carter.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I know the reason why you're probably here today, though, because the tenant I had in there, she was causing a whole lot of problems.
Okay,
So
well,
it's just-
but we're going to hear from code enforcement first,
Okay.
and then I'll give you we're just here to see
Yes,
whether you're in
yes,
compliance
yes,
or
ma'am.
non-compliance.
Yes, ma'am.
Simpler than some of the other things.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector is Mike Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald reports the property is currently in non-compliance. He's asking for the next cutoff of the property to be brought into compliance. And he has had contact with the respondent, and they just need to get it done.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Carter, what would you like to tell us?
Like I said, she wouldn't let me get in the house. She was violent. And,
This is a tenant?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
Yes, ma'am. But she's no
Still
longer
there?
there. No, ma'am.
Okay.
I had to evict her. So now I can go in there and start
Good.
doing some work.
A lot to be done.
Not really. I have some pictures of some things I already started.
Okay.
Would you like to see them?
Well, the list is long.
Yeah. But it's really not that bad.
Rotten wood, damaged exterior walls,
It's-
damaged windows, glass, but on and on.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna do it all.
Yes, I did. I have started already.
Good. Okay.
You'd like to see some?
Would like to see the pictures.
This is the hallway.
Do you think you're gonna be done by January?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we can set a compliance date.
You people work fast.
Excuse me, you think it'll be January or would you need February?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Think you will be completely finished in January or February? This is
Well,
quite a bit.
February would be better for me.
I think.
Okay. But I have started.
I move to the next, to February cutoff.
Okay, second.
All right, Are there any other questions? Mr. Harrington has made a motion to find respondent in noncompliance in order the respondent commit compliance by the cutoff date, January 2nd, will be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of $1,000 per
said
day.
February.
February 5th.
Excuse me, that would be February 5th? Okay, 2020. And who made the second? Second, Mr. Gonzalez, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay.
February, who made the second?
February, yeah,
Who made the second?
Mr. Gonzalez.
Okay, and, gotcha.
Okay, so, good, we can get that work done.
Okay, 37, I believe.
Case. All right, that is on
Page 12.
page 12.
Which number you say?
It's just compliance,
37.
non-compliance.
37.
Case 37 on page 12.
Okay,
CEB
they've
one.
made a
You're
word
all
on-
set.
You're all set.
Okay,
They gave you till February the 5th.
right, thank you. Y'all have a nice evening.
Merry
Okay,
Christmas.
thank you. CEB 12-19-285, Warren Christie. Okay, this also is just compliance or non-compliance.
State your name and address, please.
Christy Warren, 61.
That
That's
backwards.
backwards. We have, I'm sorry,
We both said at the same time. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that explains some things. A lot. 61 Harvard Drive, Ormond Beach.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
To reboot that.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance and non-compliance. Inspector Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that there was a inspection or re-inspection done in June, and it still remains in non-compliance, so he's asking for finding of non-compliance, next cutoff for the property to be brought into compliance. Tender Mr. Jones.
questions for Mr. Jones? Question I have, is there a lot left to be done?
There was very minor. They had some smoke detectors, problems with some windows and some screens.
Cool. What would you like to tell us?
Okay, I just moved here from Denver, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
So I received the first notice for getting a rental license, and I applied for it. We had the inspection that they needed, and here's, sorry, shaking. Here's what the punch list that we received.
Okay.
And then I had the punch list taken care of. This is the bill that I paid in June, on June 19th. My understanding is that, if anyone wants to see, my understanding is that everything, okay, my understanding is that everything was taken care of. The house is from, I think, the mid-50s, and it has jealous windows.
Jealousy.
Okay, my understanding is one of the panes did not open, so I have a property manager here who has a window guru
Yeah, I've heard of the window guru.
who went in and fixed these, and as far as I knew, it was all done. Now, in the meantime, sorry.
That's okay. Relax. We're only here today, let me tell you.
Yeah, I understand it's compliance, I'm sorry.
That's it.
Okay.
So that's all we're gonna do.
Right.
And
So I did move here in August after my son died. And the papers went to my home in Denver, which is on the market, but the post office never forwarded them to me. Now, in the meantime, my property manager moved their office to another office. They have not been getting their forwarded mail, so the only reason I'm here this morning that I know this happened is last Wednesday, my realtor, it's been really, really cold in Denver, went by to make sure nothing was leaking, and called me and said, oh, there's something here on the floor from the Daytona police. And I thought, I got one of those photograph tickets or something. So I said, well, just open it. And he sent me this thing, and I'm like, what are they talking about? Because I took care of this back in June. So, I mean, nothing went to my property manager, nothing came to me, thank you. And the tenant said that they talked to someone in, I believe, October, and they were given a piece of paper, but they're a tenant, they don't know what to do, they didn't know to get, they thought everything was fine.
Okay.
So what I've done since then is I would like to live in that house myself. I bought it for myself some years ago. Is I just decided to replace all the jealousy windows. So I have a contract here that I signed on, I believe, Monday. We're still waiting for the last page because he needs to put a permit number on that. The contractor's already taken the form that you have to have notarized that says there's work going to be done. Here's the canceled check. This is for 6 windows.
I got a question for you. You're gonna move into that house and not rent it anymore?
That's the plan at this point, but the plan was to move into that house in 2015. My son was an addict.
But we're trying.
I'm sorry.
If you're not gonna rent this anymore, we don't have to even go on with this case.
Well,
That's not really correct.
it's my intention, but, you know, man plans and God's been cracking up around me, just laughing like crazy. So that's my intention, but I don't want to say I am.
Make this simple. And not, so, we have no intention of making your life harder. We want you to come into compliance. You seem to be doing what you need to do.
Yes, I can say.
You're working on it, go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't want you to be,
Madam Chair, I think, as she said, we accept and believe. She just recently received the notices necessary. She made contact with the inspector on December 5th. He told her to make the checklist available. Unfortunately, you know, because she's starting additional work, we're going to need that to get completed, and the additional time is not a problem. So we're asking for it to be amended to allow her the time to finish the windows and the additional work.
at this point, the only thing we're doing right now, it says compliance or non-compliance, okay? And that's it. So it's not in compliance, and we'll give you, how long do you think it will take to get into compliance?
The only thing, everything was done on the punch list.
Okay.
Back in May.
Okay.
Because that's when I
Yeah.
paid this invoice. So I'm asking please till February 5th
Okay.
because I'm having custom windows made, 6 of them.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, so see if I'm looking at the right case. Because what I'm looking at says failure to obtain rental.
Oh, that's, okay. Oh, I think I can answer your question.
Right, well, let me finish.
Okay.
Because I'm bringing it to the attention of the board, what the citation is, and there's no other issues
That's true.
on here. So, how are we gonna now address issues that were not included in the case?
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
Those issues are included. What's required for a rental license is an inspection and certain things to be completed as part of that inspection.
Well, why are they not on here?
Because that's not the way that it's cited. It's a separate inspection checklist. And by doing that, we're not creating an additional case because we don't know what needs to be done until we go in and inspect the property. But we do have a standardized checklist of the things that's required when it was adopted as part of the rental ordinance. And so we go in with that checklist and make sure those things are to satisfy the health, safety, and well-being of the citizens who are renting, since it is commercial property at that point, property that's being used for
Yes.
for money-making property. I guess best statement I can make for it.
And
Yeah.
could I please add one thing? Before I moved from Denver, I did receive a bill from Daytona Beach for renewal of license, and I paid that bill. So that's why my understanding was I had a rental license, because if you get a renewal, it infers that you have a rental license.
Business tax.
And that was, pardon me?
Sure it was a rental license, nothing else?
Yes, it was, and Mr. Jones, I talked with him, and he because I'd sent the payment in sometime in
It was a
September.
It was a
Business tax.
business tax
Not the
license,
same
and
thing.
back in May of this year, May 22nd, her rental license
Right.
was approved. And then we, of course, did an inspection following that.
So we move to the February cutoff?
Yes. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent into compliance by February 5th, 2020, be returned to the board for consideration of fine of $1,000 a day. Mr. Harrington made the motion.
Second.
Second, Ms. Roby, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. So you have till February.
Okay.
Just stay in touch.
Yeah, I'll let Mr. Jones
with
know.
Mr.
Like,
Jones.
it's
Let him
all
know what
done.
you're doing, and you're moving along, and it'll be fine.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Okay.
39.
Case number 39, CEB 12-19-287, Gail Lucinda Smith at 443 Walker. We're just here for compliance or non-compliance.
State your name and address, please.
Gail Smith, 443 Walker Avenue, Daytona Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector, Mark Jones, Mr. Jones reports that the property currently is in non-compliance for the rental license and business tax receipt. And he would ask that you give her till next cutoff to come into compliance. There's already a application that was submitted on December 6th, so we just have to get the inspections done and move on.
Okay.
I was gonna ask if I could go to February due to me having a family emergency that happened. So I was gonna ask, can I get enough time to February?
Ma'am,
I
could you
put the
please use the
application-
microphone?
I put the application in and everything, but a emergency came up in my family, so I was asked to February, so I'll be able to pay it for the rental license.
When did you apply?
December 6th.
December 6th.
December 6th?
Yes.
We're okay with the additional time because I said it was, that it was accepted. It's under review. So it gets under review, then it's gonna be, granted, and then we'll have to set the inspection and then give 30 days. So February is probably a more appropriate
Okay.
date.
Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent committed to compliance by the February 5th cutoff date to be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day.
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Himes, second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Roby, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay, so you
All
have
right.
till February.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
43.
Shoot, what, this is how we should. I just wrote it on 38, but.
CEB, case number 43, CEB 12-19-292, Lori and Albert Smola. Good morning.
Ouch.
State your name and address, please.
Albert Smola, 1707 Western Road, South Daytona.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay,
Inspection, honey.
we'll hear from our code department, and then we'll give you a chance to speak.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for compliance and non-compliance inspectors, Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that he did do an inspection, re-inspection in June. There's some things that need to be done for compliance, and those things are still outstanding. He's asking for next cutoff for the property to be brought into compliance, a finding of non-compliance.
What would you like to tell us? You working on these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was out of work for a while. Then I got a good job at Halifax, so I'm getting some money together.
All right.
And I'll be able to do what I gotta do.
Is this a vacant lot?
No, the lot is 75 wide by 300 deep,
Okay.
so it's literally a football field. Wow. Yeah.
Cut off?
Yeah.
Next cutoff? Okay. All right. Chair will entertain a motion by respondent, non-compliance, or respondent come into compliance by February 5th cutoff date to be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000. What?
Ah,
Did
there's
I-
the house.
Next cutoff is January.
Oh, next cutoff, we'll do, okay, so January 2nd,
I got you.
next cutoff date. Or be
Okay.
returned to the board for consideration of
It's
fine.
holiday time, I have
Okay,
no
could I-
objection to February.
All right, hold on, I'm going to just forget that until we,
Could I please have 30 days?
yeah, it's really not even 30 days that we're giving him to do. Is there a lot of work to be done, Mr. Jones?
I have to move all my
Wait a minute,
stuff
I'm
that I,
asking Mr. Jones.
oh,
Yes, there was items in the house itself that needed to be repaired. There was windows, screens, smoke detectors, and then we had everything in the back of the property that was not the tenants. That's the pictures you see with all the outside storage, that he was using the back of his property for a storage
Who
area.
was using that?
I was.
The owner, and I did talk with him on July 24th, and he asked at that time for an extension of 30 days to get everything corrected, and I have not heard from him until today.
Is all of that stuff
All this,
corrected?
the punch list that he gave me, has all been completed. The windows, the smoke detectors, I painted the garage.
Did you get rid of the storage stuff too?
That's what I need 30 days to do, ma'am. Or,
So okay.
I have a boat, I have a Bobcat and a trailer. And, well, that's a Volkswagen.
What is that?
That's a 47 Volkswagen.
Oh,
It's hard to tell.
okay, all right.
The projects that have to go.
Too fine.
Let's, a motion? Okay. A motion has been made to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent in compliance with the next cut by the February 5th cutoff date to be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000.
So moved.
But Ms. Himes made the motion, I need a second.
Second.
Second, Ms. McLean, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay.
And, let's see,
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Okay.
45,
Case number 45, the next page, CEB 12-19-299 Richard Clifford Walk. Good morning.
Good morning.
state your name and address, please.
Lucie Deneau, L-U-C-I-E, Deneau, D-E-N-A-U-L-T.
Would you say that again for me?
L-U-C-I-E, D-E-N-A-U-L-T.
Very
51.
French.
It is. So I'm a bit nervous. My English is not
All right,
the best.
that's okay.
514 University Boulevard.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
What is your relation to Mr. Waters?
We're the new owner, my husband and I. We bought the place with all kinds of problems that we're trying to fix now. And I know there's some,
You don't live there.
no, we live across the street.
You live across the
Yeah.
street, you bought the property. Who is Richard Waters?
He's the seller.
He was a prior owner.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
the prior owner. Okay, hold on.
Your English is fine, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, I'm nervous.
No, don't be.
That's okay.
I might
don't
ask
fight.
double question, what does that mean?
That's all right.
Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector in this case is Steve Alderman, and Mr. Alderman indicated that he had been advised that the property had changed hands, that his check, it wasn't recorded yet. It may be recorded now, that was a bit ago. he said he did indicate to the, Ms. Denault to, bring the, proof of the sale and hopefully a recorded, deed if that's what she has, or, I don't know, unless I guess they're looking for it up
Has she
there.
been served?
This one, or she been noticed?
Was she specifically?
Yeah. We were supposed to be here the last time,
So,
but
no, in her name. She was noticed in her.
When did you go to settlement?
The board is secretary.
mid-November.
Was noticed.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Waters was noticed.
That was the only
When did you close on
notification.
the property?
Pardon me?
When did you buy the property?
Mid-November, about, yeah.
Okay. We didn't have
Okay,
to
so subsequent to the initiation of the case, or our
He
first
lives in Georgia.
when did we notify Mr. Waters?
We sent the notification around the 26th of November. He signed for it on, doesn't have a date.
Okay, so we sent notification subsequent to the change of ownership, it sounds like, but she's here.
She's here.
And
She's
so
here.
if you,
She's here.
We
let's
want-
stipulate to going forward and.
Yeah. It's all new to us,
Okay.
so,
Actually, probably should.
Need to get your information.
okay.
We should just continue the case for 30 days?
We're going, go ahead, what would you like to say?
Yeah, I agree. I was just saying to the inspector what Mr. Sino just said to you, which is that we probably need to continue
Yeah, let's
this
just continue it for
Okay,
30
motion to
days.
continue the case for 30 days,
To the next meeting,
to
excuse
the
me.
next meeting.
And,
So,
you
not-
know,
And Bill
very well we
explained
may get it all
you
resolved.
weren't- No, it's
Yeah.
got to do with notification, and it's all legal stuff. It's got nothing to do with you. But
Okay.
in the meantime, you stay in touch with them and do what you need to do, and everything will.
We already doing good.
That's
A lot of work.
But we're not doing
Okay.
anything today.
Okay, thank you.
Except you're going to get a new notice.
Okay,
Well,
Okay.
Okay.
just one thing clarified, because apparently there's just miscommunication here. The inspector just wanted to make sure it's clear that he did, hand deliver notice to.
He did. He posted it.
Okay, and that
but
was
we
within the,
Okay,
time
she's
time
got-
that's allowable.
Yeah, let's just continue it, please wait.
Well, continue it and get the right name on the notification, that's.
Well, he did notice the right person with the right name, so I just want to make sure the record's clear.
No, we understand that. At the time, it was the right name.
The new.
Yeah. I mean, if you,
Yes,
I
well,
received something.
okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that the record's clear
Right.
that she was.
That's fine. At the time, it was perfectly, done perfectly right.
And legal.
Things
Mr.
have changed, and we just want to make sure that we continue to make it perfectly legal. Yes.
Mr. Alderman's in the clear. I move to continue the case for 30
We have a
days.
motion from Mr. Harrington to continue.
The
Second,
next meeting.
till the next meeting. Second from Ms. McLean, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay, we just moved it up and make sure that all the names are right.
Stay in contact with him.
Okay, yeah, we are. He's been,
And maybe you
Helpful.
can, you may even be able to get it, I don't
Done.
know how much work there is to be done, but you can even bring it into compliance and that would be fine.
compliance.
Never
mean,
mind,
get all
don't
the
worry
work
about it.
done.
Get the
Oh,
work
we already started.
Yes,
There's
please.
so many.
Keep in touch with Mr. Alderman.
He's good. He's good.
With Mr. Alderman, you'll be.
Madam Chairman,
And
does
I'll send you
Mr.
notice.
Kane have a case that's suffering
With the
through this
continuation.
the whole time? I don't see his name on the agenda.
Yes, it's 294.
What case number is
What case?
47.
It's 47.
294.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Last case.
Oh, it's coming up
coming
right
up.
now.
Oh, okay.
It's coming up, we're doing the people that are here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, what's the next?
I believe 46 is also here.
Thank
Who?
you.
Thank
you. 46, and you're 47?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we just have 46, and we're gonna do 46 first, and then we'll do you, Don, okay?
State your name and address, please.
Good morning, board members. My name is Angela Damon. For the
What is your name?
Angela Damon.
Okay.
For the 700 Millennia Boulevard, Suite 175, Orlando 32839.
Raise your
I'm the
right
property manager on behalf of the owner.
Property manager, okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear from, code, we're just here for compliance or non-compliance today.
That's correct, Madam Chair, and the inspector in the cases, Steve Alderman, and Mr. Alderman reports that the property remains in non-compliance and he's asking for next cutoff of the property to be brought into compliance. Now, turn to Mr. Alderman.
Any questions for Mr. Alderman? What, I have a question. What's a comm line?
Communication lines,
Oh,
numerous.
just kind of,
Yes,
Hanging
there was
okay,
dishes up on the top, all the cables were coming
okay,
down.
okay.
They were unused.
okay.
That's
Do,
it.
what would you like to tell us, Ms. Davis?
Ms. Damon. Pretty much, I have, the property was recently acquired by that owner in July. We took it over in July.
Yes.
And we have been working on those items. I have this dated September 26th, which shows the gutter, the fascia, the window, well taken care of. Then I did call Mr. Alderman to meet with him on property to clarify the retaining wall and the parking. And we met last week, Thursday.
Okay.
So as of this morning, pretty much almost everything has been taken care of, once he explained the parking and the...
So those
Okay, so,
pictures are old, because that pile of garbage isn't there, I hope.
It's not there.
Yeah.
okay, so what they're asking for is that you be in compliance and have Mr. Alderman come out and tell you you're in compliance by the next cutoff date. Is that right, Mr. Alderman?
Yes, I haven't re-inspected it since last Thursday, but since then, they have actually repainted the retainer wall. They've removed all the lines and cables in the front. So they're almost down to nothing but the parking lot.
Okay, great. All right, so what we're going to do is find you in non-compliance, because it's not all done, if that's what everybody wants to do, and ask you to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, which is January 2nd, or you'll come back to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 a day. Is there that motion?
I'll make the motion.
So moved. Okay, Ms. Roby, second Ms. Himes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. All right, now we're on case 47.
Thank you.
Thank you.
CEB 1219294, St. John's Revocable Living Trust at 15 Lantana. I know, Don, somebody has to go last. Right? It always happens every meeting.
State your name and address, please.
Good morning. Donald Kane, 101 University Boulevard, Daytona Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
What is your relationship to the St. John's Revocable Living Trust?
It's a trust. I'm the sole survivor of the trust.
Okay.
And I changed the trust on that particular property to my name now,
So now,
to redeed it.
so this is not the correct name?
Not now, no. It's in my name, Donald Kane. And I have an application for a permit in the building department, but the delay was because I had to get a survey. I didn't have a current survey on the property, and they required that.
Okay.
So they have all the paperwork on file now.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board,
Miss-
this is before you for determination of compliance and non-compliance. Inspector Steve Alderman, the no permits for driveway and walkway. You also have
For what?
a driveway and walkway.
Okay.
That's what's being, that was,
Okay.
and so it remains in non-compliance. And as he said, he had some delays on getting the permit approval, needing survey and so forth. I think there was a fence issue or something, I'm not sure, but Mr. Alderman is asking for finding of non-compliance and next call for it to be brought into compliance. And I'll turn to Mr. Alderman if you have
Any
any
questions for
questions.
Mr. Alderman? So you've applied for the permit now?
Yes, it's in the office
Okay,
downstairs.
it's in the office, and so we're just, you don't have it yet, so.
No, they said about a week or so.
Okay, that's fine. We'll find you in non-compliance, and go ahead, Mr. Alderman.
I talked to Amy this morning in P&L, and one of the issues that is going to be the hurdle was he actually had to take it from the trust to himself, so he did a quick claim to himself.
Okay.
Took care of that. Now he cannot, because he cannot lease, rent, or sell until that's all done. And that was a criteria for him to do it before he can do anything else, before he can even get a permit, because he can't do a permit as a trust.
also has to be registered before he
Correct.
can do
Yeah,
the
so
permit.
that's part of the delay.
Okay, where are we in that process?
Sitting on the
Of
city.
getting the name changed?
Well, I filed it, I have a quitclaim deed.
Has it been recorded?
No.
Has
It's been recorded, yes.
It's been recorded.
I have a copy of it here.
So it's not discussed anymore.
Yeah, he's good. Doesn't he take care of it downstairs? Is that
Right.
correct?
They have a copy.
So now they have.
He's okay.
Yeah, they've had a copy since the 5th.
Go back on your way out, please.
Okay.
Well, I think we know he's gonna get it done. It's just how long do you wanna give him to,
All right,
30 days or 60 days?
Okay. Well, what's the board's
I
pleasure?
say February because we
All
know
right.
how it.
Yeah, I mean, it's already, yeah. Chair will entertain motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent to come into compliance by February 5th, 2020, and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Gonzalez, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. McLean, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Okay, so, got till February.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right, now we gotta go back.
Okay,
Now,
I
we're gonna
missed
go
that.
back.
Who
You wanna just
made
go
that?
back?
Page and I.
Ms. McLean, who made that?
You want to just get all these new cases out of the way
Second.
first, since we're on the
Thank you.
compliance or non-compliance bandwagon here.
Case number 2.
Case number 2?
Yeah, we never did that, did we? Yes, we
That was just the progress report?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot to write it.
All right, let's just start, let's go through the new cases now, since we're doing in that mindset, and then we'll go back to the old cases. What page do they start on? New cases, starts on page 11. So we need to do 35, 36,
33.
34,
gonna give us
35,
the break?
36 on that page.
Did we do 33?
No, but that's an old.
No, we're going
Oh, that's an old
just, these are new cases. This is simply compliance or non-compliance on all these cases. That'll make it a little simpler.
What?
Okay, 34, CEB 12-19-284. Oki and Nerjuru. What a great name.
Alita.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mr. Reckonzon?
When I posted the property for the hearing, he actually signed for, the property owner signed for it. When I took the pictures on Monday, there was somebody out there working. He said he was out of the country for the hearing today, but it should be in compliance by next cutoff.
Okay. Chair will entertain motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent into compliance by January 2nd, 2020, and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion.
So moved.
Second. A motion, Mrs. Roby, second, Mr. Klein, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 35, CEB 12-19-298, Lillian Johnson, McCormick Street.
Non-compliance next cutoff.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion by respondent in non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. McLean, second, Mr. Gonzalez, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 36, CEB 12-19-297, Maria Ware.
That's compliance, 1210.
It's compliant? Oh,
Yay.
thanks, John. Every little bit helps. Okay. So 37, now we need to do 38, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's CEB 1219286, Scott Allen and Patricia Reed, 644 Madison.
Finding of non-compliance with compliance next cutoff.
Okay. There a lot of work to be done?
I haven't been able to inspect it. They've canceled the inspection numerous times.
Oh, okay.
That's cut off,
Yeah. Mr. Harrington has made a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent into compliance by the next cutoff date to be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Roby, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 40.
Hold it. Please? I mean, come on.
Get those
I mean,
fingers cramping.
I don't even know who made the motion, I'm so behind.
Okay, Mr. Harrington made the motion.
Okay,
I second.
gotcha,
And
okay,
Roby second.
thank you.
Okay. Case number 40, CEB 12-19-288 Pamela Lovett.
This case is for not having a business license or rental license. To date, they haven't filed for an application, so finding of non-compliance, compliance next cutoff.
Fine, next month.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance and the respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date or be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Gonzalez, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Plain, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. All right, case number 41, CEB 1219-289.
Talked with the property owner on December 9th. I've sent him another copy of the inspection report, and he feels he'll be ready by next cutoff, so non-compliance, next cutoff.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date or be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Roby, second, Ms. McLean, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Case number 42, Mr. Jones again, CEB 12-19-290, Benjamin Suarez.
I've talked with the property manager. They had some inspections that were canceled because the tenant would not allow anyone in. So I'd like a finding of non-compliance, compliance next cutoff.
So that's just one unit?
Yes, it's just one unit, Unit 103
Okay.
in the 415 North Halifax complex.
Is the tenant still in there, or?
Yes. I think their intent is trying to get the tenant out. But at this point, I need to, proceed with getting him into non-compliance.
Right.
So we can see if we can push it a little bit.
Okay. All right, Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine up to $1,000 per day. Such motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Gonzalez, second, Ms. Himes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Case number 44, bottom of the page, CEB 12-19-295.
Finally had contact with the owner yesterday. It's a joint ownership between his father and himself. He's told me he will apply for his license. He still does not have any of the applications in as to date, so I'd like a finding of non-compliance with compliance next cutoff. Hopefully he'll pursue with getting his license application in.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
I move.
Motion, Ms. Roby, is there a second? Second, Ms. Himes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Okay, now we're going back to the beginning and see what we need to do. These would be old cases we're going to consider now.
I think page 9 is where we,
Page 9? Okay. Case number 28 on page 9. CEB 09-19-208. Eugene Harris at
this
348.
is the guy that worked at Sam's, the short man. I remember him.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for a monthly progress report and determination of compliance date. The inspector is Mike Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald reports that Mr. Harris is, or the respondent is, receiving assistance through the program for one of the city programs. And the program has asked if we can give them till the February cutoff date for compliance.
Okay.
And so would ask that we, I don't know what our current, if we have a current compliance date, but would ask that if we do that, it be amended to
No,
the
it says
February.
determination here.
Okay, so we'd ask for the February compliance date.
Non-compliance, February cutoff date.
Yeah, well, this was a progress report. Has there been any progress made?
Michael Fitzgerald. Yeah, these people here have been working on this property, and they're out there almost every day. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be done by February, yeah.
Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until February 5th to come in, 2020, to come into compliance, or be returned to a meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Motion, Mr. Harrington. Second? Second, Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Non-compliance is gone.
No.
Okay, yeah.
No, he didn't come to the last one.
You want
Okay.
Yep.
We'll move on to case number 29, CEB 11-19-275, Carrie Clark, 868 Kingston. Okay. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Non-compliance next cutoff?
These are the ones that had service issues.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, these are the ones that had the service issues.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so we're just, and have you had any, this is just compliance or non-compliance, like a new case, right?
Yep.
Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent not, have they done anything?
I don't,
Doesn't appear so, but, okay.
yeah, no.
Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. So moved.
Second.
Motion, Ms. Heim, second, Ms. McLean, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That's particularly unattractive one, huh? Case number 30, CEV 11-19-276, Donald Chester. Same issue, right?
Yeah, this is also a continuation of last month's.
Okay.
Okay. Non-compliance next cutoff? And,
So this is mostly just, it's just a lot, right?
yeah,
Okay.
Any contact with him?
no contact.
Okay.
Very good, Mayor.
He's married.
Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Heim, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Oh, we have one more? That's it? Case 33. CEB 11, that's on page 11. CEB 11-19-280, same issue. This is just compliance or non-compliance. Annie Davis.
Non-compliance next cutoff?
Any contact?
Let me just look at the pictures here. Have you had any contact?
I've had contact from a relative.
Oh, it's an estate.
Yeah. And it's going through a probate or something, so.
Great. This case will be with us for a while, I guess, huh? All right, Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Roby, second. Second, Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Right.
Who made the motion?
Ms. Roby.
Thank you.
This should be the next month.
What?
Next month.
Next month.
Yes, January, we do it in January.
January meeting.
Okay.
Fine.
When is the workshop?